Okay, we are live. We are live. We're live. We're live. We're live. Hey, guys, Osman G here, back again with another Red Devils You Live podcast. It's a bit different. Obviously, we're trying something a bit new, doing a show on Friday. We're hoping to do one on Friday and Monday, just so people can have just a bit more time to speak on the topics, just because there's so many topics that obviously been going on during the week. And obviously to give more content for the fans. So before we get into it, if you're new to the channel, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to Red Devil Studio. Follow us on Twitter, United X, and smash that notification button for the latest Manchester United news. So let's just get into it. Let's get into our first topic. I'm obviously joined by K-Side, Josh, LB, Tom, who are going to be getting involved in these discussions. So hopefully, for those who are listening, get your questions in, and we'll hopefully have a good show. So topic number one, is Mourinho finished? For those obviously who are watching the whole debacle with Spurs against Sheffield United, bearing in mind it's the Sheffield United side that got battered by Arsenal.
Newcastle.
Well, they got battered by Newcastle, Arsenal, and Manchester United. And despite that, Spurs lost the conceded 3 goals this team. Now, before I give people a chance to speak, there was a lot of talk about the whole thing. There's been a lot of BBC talk about VAR, the sham, the handball, all the rest of it. It was a handball, blah blah. I don't even want to go into that for two simple reasons. Is that at the end of the day, handball or no handball, the goals that Spurs conceded were poor. They were very, very, very poor defensive goals. Spurs still have a side that can beat a Sheffield United side with Kane, with Son, with Moura, etc. Like, it's not VAR's fault. Whether you get this decision right or wrong, you still have to win the game. And at that point, it was only 1-0 to Sheffield United. So I don't want to turn this, I mean, if you want to mention it, it's fine, but I don't want to turn this into is VAR, and I want me to focus on basically, I guess the two-part question is Jose Mourinho done at Spurs? And then the second part of the question is Jose Mourinho actually just finished as a coach, full stop? So I want to just go forward to, I'll start with Josh, actually, because you're asking him. Josh, what do you think about Jose Mourinho? Do you think he's actually, he's finished?
Oh, man. Obviously, Mourinho took a break and was, I was really enjoying him as a pundit, honestly. When I saw him on Sky Sports, you know, he kept Graham Souness quiet for a bit, so that was nice. And he kind of, it just was quite refreshing to hear, like, a sort of a current manager, you know, someone who, in quote, the great one. And, you know, I always will respect him as a coach, because he's definitely a brilliant manager, whatever you say about him as a person. But yeah, honestly, I just think his style of football is just completely outdated now. Spurs, you can't say, you know, I've seen the YouTube comments where, oh, when you've got Eric Dyer and such in defense. They went to the Champions League final last year with Sanchez and Alderweireld and Vertonghen as a back three. So how can players just play so badly in a 1 year time span? You know, they got rid of a few players. They made signings. It's not like they didn't make any signings. They got Bergwijn, they got Lo Celso. There's a few others. You know, that maybe they didn't, you know, strengthen their back line, but you know, you can't say that other teams made amazing signings. You know, you're hearing other people call other teams players that they signed flops. People were calling Man United up until Bruno Fernandes got there. So I just think his footballing style is outdated. The kind of you know, 10 men park the bus. And to be honest, even when I've watched them this season, it's almost like the players don't even play that way. Like that they kind of rebel against because that's always how Mourinho's played. But the players aren't playing that when I watch it. Like they look really susceptible on the counter attack. They're, you know, I mean, they don't even have a defensive midfielder, arguably. Eric Dyer used to play defensive midfield. one of the players I used to really enjoy seeing, even though I'm an Arsenal fan, Moussa Dembele. He was unbelievable. And for me, they don't really have like a proper CDM. So I would say Spurs and Mourinho are finished at the minute. There's no way Spurs are getting top four. No way. They're not better than Chelsea. They're not better than Man United. They're definitely not better than Wolves. They're definitely not better than Sheffield. So, but yeah, that's just my opinion. I don't want to spend too long on that.
Thanks, Josh. Moving on to Tom. Same question. Finished at Spurs. Finished as a top coach.
Well, in terms of Mourinho at Tottenham and everything, I think obviously they've had. I think Pochettino was there 4 or 5 years, so they've played the exact same style of football, and players were there with Poch for the full time and everything. And Mourinho's only been in the job, not even probably half a year and everything, and he's already turning toxic and sour at the football club. And like Josh has just referred to there, I think Mourinho over the past 20 years, along with, when it takes you back to say when he was at Real Madrid and there was the battle between him and Guardiola there. But when he come to say, and then they brought it obviously to the Premier League when it was Mourinho at Man United and Pep Guardiola at Man City. We don't even speak about the two managers in the same sentence anymore, because it's either we speak about Pep Guardiola and Klopp, or we speak about another top manager. Yeah. And that's why I think with such as Mourinho at Tottenham, at first I was a bit like, well, when he was at Chelsea, I think Chelsea was the club for him in a sense, because he had the players there that could get him out of a sticky situation, such as Hazard and Diego Costa, who can just nick him a goal. And he had the right CDMs there in such as Matic, and he had the right back four in such as Aspilicueta. But I look at this Tottenham team. Pochettino took them to the Champions League final, and to say nobody would have expected Tottenham to go to a Champions League final. Nobody would have betted on that. And with Jose Mourinho in that RB Leipzig game, I think in his interview, with what he said apparently there was like a gun. They went to a fight with a gun without bullets. But how can he say that when he's got some? You regard Harry Kane as one of the best strikers in the world when 3 or 4 years ago, banging in 25 goals a season, and you said the exact same about some of the other players there. In terms of him at Tottenham, I think he'll probably have another summer window or something, and then it'll be the exact same as what happened at Man United. He'll go to Daniel Levy in the summer and say, I need this player, I need that player. Daniel Levy won't agree to the players because of the transfer fee that it'll cost. And then he'll just get into a tailspin, and it'll end exactly how it did against Man United, where he'll just lose control. I look at some of the players in that Sheffield United game. They don't particularly look like they enjoy playing for Tottenham. I look at players like Harry. I look at players like Ndombele. Ndombele, when he was at Lyon, was tipped to be one of the best French midfielders in the world. He probably wouldn't even get in the French national team with the way he's been playing under Mourinho. And I just look at. I do feel sorry for Jose at times. Like Josh said, I did actually like him when he was a pundit, because he was a modern day manager who's managed in the modern game, and he knows the football that's played modernly. But when you go to a different team, you need to approach, because different teams have different ways of how they like to play. Like with Man United, for example. Man United's been brought up as an attacking team over the years with Sir Alex Ferguson. And then you bring in a defensive manager in Jose Mourinho. It was never going to work. And I look at Tottenham. All Tottenham's ever known is attacking football, possession-based football, pressing football with Pochettino. They had 3 ways of playing, and that's why they were so successful over the 5 years they were there. But Pochettino was even saying at the end of at the Champions League final, he sees red flags in front of him in terms of they're going to fall down a long way, and it's going to be a case of he's going to have to rebuild. And Daniel Levy obviously didn't want to spend the time rebuilding with him. Jose Mourinho was the wrong appointment for me. I think they should have gone for somebody a bit more. I don't think I would have gone for Jose Mourinho in particular. I think I would have gone for more of a tactical manager in Allegri. So in terms of him being at Tottenham, I think he'll be done come Christmas next year. I think he'll be out of the job. I think they'll be searching for another manager. And Pochettino's already said before that he'd happily go back there. So I think that's always an option, Pochettino to go back to Tottenham. I think Daniel Levy, I'd love to have him back there, to be honest. So in terms of him at Tottenham, I think he's done at Christmas time next year. Or Christmas time this year, actually. In terms of him at the top level as a manager, like I've just referred to earlier, we don't even speak about him in the same sentences, such as Klopp or Guardiola. You know, when he goes on and wins maybe a Premier League title at Tottenham, which I can't see happening, or he goes and wins a major trophy, then yeah, you can say, oh yeah, he's back at the top in a sense. Pochettino's not won a trophy, and people rated Pochettino higher than Mourinho, and that's because of the brand of football that he plays. And like Josh said earlier, you know, it's like 10-man football. It's like he'll just have 10 people in his own half, and then he'll just lump it forward to Harry Kane and expect magic to happen. It's not like he's got Lionel. It's not like he's got Lionel Messi up there who can drill past the whole team and then score. So in terms of him being at the top level, he's not there anymore. And I don't think he has been there since he left Chelsea, really. Because what major trophy has he won since he left Chelsea? The major trophies that he's won is league titles.
Carabao Cup or something. Or...
He won the Europa League with Manchester United, but that's probably
that's about it. And that was kind of controversial because Man United could have gone out numerous times in that competition against such teams like Anderlecht.
Fellaini saved them.
Yeah, Fellaini saved us, exactly. You know, I just the hypocrisy of the man at the times, though. I do like Mourinho. Was like I said, I liked him as a pundit, but I just he's not moderned his play style to suit his teams that he's managed or to suit the modern game. The modern game is such as attacking fullbacks and attacking football. He doesn't play that style of football, and I think that's why, you know, I could see him going back to somebody like a Benfica or something and just trying to build them up in the Portuguese league or something, personally. I don't think he'll get another top job after Tottenham, to be honest. I think he's ruined Tottenham. You know, Tottenham have got not a hope in house chance of finishing in the top four. If they can't beat a team like Sheffield United, they won't beat a team like... They even lost to Chuffing Norwich on penalties. It shouldn't even got to penalties. In terms of Mourinho as a manager, I think he's finished at Tottenham, and I think he's finished for good, to be honest. He'll just be one for the history books in a sense. So that's just my opinion anyway.
Okay, so quite negative from Mourinho where we're going. So LB Mourinho.
Look, I personally think that because he's out of the Champions League, and I don't think they can mathematically make it into the top four, that Tottenham and Mourinho will part ways come end of the season. In terms of Mourinho being done as a top manager, I still think there is hope that he'll one day go back to Real Madrid and finish that almost unfinished business that, in winning a Champions League with them. Because if you remember when he was at Real Madrid, he got them to, I think, 2 or 3 consecutive semi-finals and wasn't able to even get into a final. And, you know, with a coach like Mourinho, he's always going to be, you know, talked about, whether that's in a positive or negative way. And I know it was mentioned just now or previously that he's not even discussed, you know, in the same, you know, breadth as someone like Guardiola, 2 coaches who were, you know, compared amongst each other quite regularly back in the day when Guardiola was in charge of Barcelona and Mourinho was in charge of Real Madrid. So he has declined, but, you know, personally, I don't think he's finished. I think there is still going to be opportunities for Mourinho to be picked up by top European clubs, whether that's, you know, Real Madrid or.
Do you think he'll really go? He'll be accepted by Real Madrid with what Zinedine Zidane is doing?
Look, that's another sort of topic to discuss. I mean, obviously, Zidane has done really well with Real Madrid since coming back this season. But let's just, you know, hypothetically assume that sometime in the future, when Zidane and Real Madrid sort of part ways, they might sort of look towards Jose Mourinho, someone who was there in the past. But as I said, you know, Zidane and Real Madrid don't really look like parting ways right now. with the way he's going and how he sort of brought that team back up to where they should be. But I always thought that with Mourinho's tactics that he would be suited to a club like Atletico Madrid. Simeone, another top quality manager, and someone who has been under pressure at times this season as well. But it'll be interesting to sort of see if that even sort of is discussed or even brought to the table at all sometime in the future. Mourinho and Atletico Madrid. But yeah, I suppose we'll just have to wait and see. But no, I don't think he's finished as a top manager. No.
Okay. So lastly, Kesa, what's your thoughts on is Mourinho finish at Spurs or finishes as a top manager?
I think he kind of tarnished his legacy at Man United. I think he's just, his football is not that great anymore. He just plays defensive football. Football's moved on. Look, yesterday I think that wasn't for me Mourinho's fault. I think yesterday, personally, I think it was Tottenham's defense fault that they lost the game. Yes, Mourinho has made mistakes during his Tottenham time, but I think Mourinho, you know how United are inconsistent. I think that's basically Mourinho as a manager. He can like win and school someone and get a great performance, but then he can lose and get absolutely embarrassed. I think Jose Mourinho is not gonna win a Premier League title anymore. I think Mourinho personally, I say Mourinho and Pep are on the same level. I think Klopp's miles ahead of Pep, and I think Jose and Pep are on the same level for me personally.
Wait, let me check that. How are Jose and Pep on the same level when Pep Guardiola's won
Pep
back-to-back
Guardiola,
Premier
if you
League
put him in that
titles?
Spurs team, Pep Guardiola ain't gonna do nothing. I think the reason why this Spurs team isn't good is because their motivation is not there anymore. Because Tottenham is a small club. They reached the Champions League final last year, and they bottled it. They didn't win it. Now,
but that means they have the quality.
That's a once in a lifetime opportunity for a club like Tottenham. So I think their motivation is gone. I think players want to leave. I think if Tottenham won the Champions League last season, there would be motivation for this season because they want to win the Premier League, obviously. But I think personally, Mourinho needs to resign. And I don't know about you guys. I think the perfect job for him is Portugal, the national team. And then I think he retires. That's my say.
Okay. Fair enough. No? Ooh, can people... Yeah, you can hear me. Fair enough. The only thing I guess I would add to that is that possibly maybe even a PSG might potentially be an option for Jose, because it's a sort of the great combination of owners who will spend tons of money and get him what he wants.
I think Mourinho is perfect for PSG.
I think he's perfect.
His defensive style and that. So yeah, that's a good show.
Yeah, to be fair.
Because I don't see, if Thomas Tuchel doesn't win the Champions League this season, I think he's getting sacked.
Sorry.
That's probably somewhere in the clause at PSG, because the domestic is a given.
Yeah, exactly.
They've sacked every manager.
If you don't get to a final, yeah, exactly. That's why they can't do anything.
Yeah,
if he gets to the final, I'm not sure. Maybe it's like to reach a final.
Yeah, if he gets to the final.
PSG's best chance of winning a Champions League, I think, was 2016. Remember when they played Man City in the quarterfinals and they lost?
Yeah.
That I think was their best chance of winning.
They haven't got past the quarterfinals, have they?
No.
Ever?
No.
But they played that poor Man City side under Pellegrini. in quarter
They
finals.
played-
Yeah, with
They played that
Dzeko
poor
and
Manchester United side last season. So, like, I mean, there's
They
there's.
bottled that.
they're
I
just
do
Red
remember.
missed.
Devil Man, are you making fun of Ollie the Goat?
I'm not making fun of it. I'm just saying that if you lose, if we're saying you lost to poor Man City side, then the following
Yeah.
season you then lost. You were then 5 goals up, and then still conceded 6 goals at the Camp Nou, and then the following
Champions
season
League's not for you.
and the following season after that, you lose to players like Tahith Chong and Mason Greenwood in your own backyard.
No. Mason Green was a
You know.
quality player. Mason was a
Of course,
quality player.
of course, he's a
Yeah,
quality
yeah.
player, but not,
But
but like,
it means
yeah,
at it means at like that age.
yeah,
Tahith-
It wasn't like
Tahith-
fully developed.
And I'm
Tahith Chong's actually horrendous.
but I mean, at PSG, you've got players like Thiago Silva, Verratti, and Mbappe on the
Yeah,
field.
yeah,
You know,
that's
you shouldn't really be losing at home to that type of. Shout out to Ilya, man. Hope you're doing well. Ilya Knight does say Jose is finished like a manager a long time ago. All I'm saying, I think, before we move on, is just that I think that if he goes to PSG, that's the kind of environment that Jose Mourinho wants.
Red
you
Devil.
know.
You know how PSG, right? The Champions League's back in August. PSG have not even played a game yet, and they have to get fitness levels up.
That is true. That's true. But the only thing I would say about that is that the Champions League format is not. It's not going to be home and away. It's only going to be
it's
one.
a
It's going,
tournament.
exactly.
Neutral ground at somewhere like Brazil, like Spain or something.
Exactly.
They'll just play in different grounds.
Exactly. So I think that actually might suit a PSG who, if they only need to one game, because they've often been beaten by away goals. So if it's just going to be one game, knock out one game, then all you need is like a good 90-minute performance for Neymar and Mbappe, and then the world's your oyster. You know what I mean?
Probably their best chance, honestly.
PSG teams like Mr. Bean, lol. So, does anyone have any other comments about Mourinho before we get into what is hopefully the bigger, meatier topic?
No.
Might have some other people come on, right?
Can Mourinho, right? I'm asking you guys this, right? If you put Mourinho in, let's just say, a Man United team, they have Sancho, they have
So
Upamecano.
right.
Do you
Let's
expect-
so if
do you
you
expect
put him in
Man
like a
United
ready-made team,
because-
for him.
Wait, 1 second, right? You people are disrespecting Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and lots of people expect Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to get there. So if Mourinho had Upamecano and he signed Sancho, do you think Manchester United will be third and challenging for a title? That's that.
No,
No,
I don't
absolutely
even
not.
think he'd be close. It instead of turning him into better players, it'd be turning him into worse players. He's done that at Tottenham.
Yeah, I agree.
Like
And I think
Harry
Ollie's done it. Yes, sorry, go on, bro.
Yeah, like Harry Kane, one of the best strikers in the world for me. One of the best goal scorers anyway. Real Madrid have wanted him the past 4 or 5 years.
I think Harry Kane finished.
I think he's finished with Mourinho.
Yeah, I agree.
And the thing,
Get another manager.
just before we move on as well, like I think the thing about Mourinho as well, he's one of those managers that like has to be backed. Like he's expecting, I want this player, this player, this player.
Yeah.
Like you remember when he was on Sky Sports. Yeah, exactly. And he was saying he was
just
pretty
come out
much
and said, "Yeah, I need a centre half." And
I needed a centre half.
That doesn't get like the confidence of his centre half any better. Like
And I mean,
buying that.
Yeah, and you shouldn't have gone to Spurs then if that was the case, because you've got Daniel Levy there.
Exactly.
You've got Daniel Levy. Where's this money going to come from? You're not going to get it from him. So you went to the wrong club, my friend.
You just spent a load of money in a new stadium anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so there's no way they're going to be spending a lot.
No
And I tell Spurs, in fact,
club.
Stay tuned on Saturday. I'm hoping to do a show with the Spursy podcast. We're going to have a discussion about Mourinho again. So, but it's you're right about the stadium and stuff. So, let's quickly move on. So, top 4 Liverpool futures. This is where in the big hopefully big topic is going to. So I'm going to just put up the Premier League table so that people can see where things are right now. This is the Premier League table right now. As you can see, Liverpool. I'm just going to put some. Okay, Liverpool obviously have won league. Let's ignore them. Even though they got spanked by City yesterday. Although we're not going to talk about that in a second. Well, not in a second, but a bit later on, because I want to talk about Liverpool's title chances next season. City obviously is in a solid second and 66. 10 points clear of Leicester City. Got now this is where it gets interesting. Okay,
Yeah.
Leicester City obviously are third with 55 points. Chelsea behind them with 51 points. United in fifth place with 52 points, and Wolves with 52, and obviously Sheffield with 47. Don Ragnar actually says, once again, Ollie's tactics get massed over Bruno. Amazingly, no one is saying that Edward Byrne is far program will be proud of how Woodward has played fans. Don Ragnar, buddy. I'm actually questioning Don Ragnar. Like, will you ever, if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer next season won a treble, would you be Ollie in? I am curious. Would you, because then there's a difference between the manager and then the club. So I support the club, not necessarily who the only reason I give Ollie a bit more is because of what he's done for the club. But of course, if things completely fall apart, then it'll always be Manchester United over any player. But I'm curious. Yeah. I'm curious on Ragnar. Would you still support Ollie if he won a treble with United next season? I'm curious. And then so Pogba's form got Ollie the jog. Pogba's return is keeping him. I'd argue Bruno. I think Bruno Fernandes has been. Pogba has been really good, but I would argue it's not just Pogba. Like
it's a team effort. It's a team. Everybody's improved. Improved.
Matic, Bruno, Martial, obviously performing better. Obviously, the defensive and Rashford, Wan-Bissaka, So I think it's a bit harsh to just say.
And he promoted Greenwood to the first team and continued to play him.
And of course, there's Greenwood as well. United says Ollie at the wheel. Talk about Sané and Bayern. We are gonna talk about that after this topic. Actually, we're gonna talk about Real Madrid and then we're gonna talk about Sané and Bayern. So please stay tuned till the end of the show, Dan San. We're gonna talk about Sané to Bayern and Inter to Hakimi to Inter Milan as well. But anyway, before I go back into the comments, let me go to Josh. Looking at top four. Like the vid, guys. Like the vid. Make sure that you like the vid, share the video, and subscribe to Red Devil Studio. Please like the vid. Josh, top four. Where do you see this going? Who do you see? Okay, let me know in the comments as well, guys. Who do you see eventually getting top four with 6 games to spare? Bearing in mind that Chelsea obviously lost, Leicester lost. What do you think?
Mm-hmm.
Man, it's going to be interesting, and I'm happy that we've obviously the title races, Liverpool are champions. So again, top four is the top four is what we're watching this season. It's a weird one because definitely Sheffield United aren't getting top four. Obviously they lost to us, and honestly, I feel like anyone who loses to Arsenal this time shouldn't deserve top four because we're in a transition phase and we're not playing that well. We've been scraping a couple of wins. To Sheffield, they're definitely out of the race. Wolves have got a good chance. I just feel like Jimenez. Adama Traore got benched in the last game and he came on later. I can't remember who they played, but I feel like. You're going to be playing Jimenez and Adama Traore, your best players, pretty much from now until the end of the season, till you, because they are the best players, and are they going to get gassed out? The rest of the team, is doing well. Other players are starting to perform. Jurgen is getting a bit more form. He was amazing last season.
Yep.
I feel like Leicester looks safe right now. But realistically, there's only 3 points difference. No,
nobody's safe. Nobody's safe.
Let's look at because you bring up Leicester. Let's just look at Leicester's next fixtures. Okay, so obviously tomorrow they're playing Crystal Palace at 3:00, and to be honest, they should beat Palace because Palace I think have gone on holiday because they're safe. But you never know. But I think these are the big games to see. I think Arsenal away. I think Arsenal at home at the Emirates. I don't see, aside from the occasional Brighton slip, so I don't see Arsenal losing to Leicester City at the Emirates Stadium. At best, it will be like a draw.
Yeah.
They've got Bournemouth away. Bournemouth who are obviously going to be fighting for their lives. That's going to be tough.
Bournemouth are giving everybody 3 points.
We don't know.
Who can
We
see
don't-
4 goals to Newcastle? Come on.
Yeah, but to be fair, Newcastle scored 3 against Sheffield, though. I mean, so like Newcastle's form. In fact, if you actually look at the Premier League table, and unfortunately the form record isn't here. If you go to the BBC website, Newcastle have like the third best form in the league.
Yeah, they do.
What?
Since the restart, like since in the last 5 games,
Since the restart, I don't think they've lost a game, have they?
No, in the last,
No.
I think last 5 games, it's the only better
They
form. I
lost to
think
Man City.
Wolves.
Yeah, but
that's
That's the FA Cup. That's the FA Cup, though. So in terms of it's like
terms of the
Wolves, then United, then Newcastle. So those are the sorts of thing. But anyway, sorry. Go on. Finish your point, Josh.
But yeah, no, I said on sort of on paper, people were probably thinking Leicester was safe before lockdown. They were sitting on 54 points or whatever, 53 points, and they were looking kind of safe. But everybody's winning now. Man United are winning, and honestly, they look really, really good. Wolves are winning. I mean, even Arsenal are winning, but Arsenal won't get top 4. But they changed things around. There's no way. I think Leicester are going to drop out of that, man. It's going to be Liverpool, City, United, and I can't pick a 4th. I can't.
Do you think Chelsea will drop out?
Chelsea they're a bit banda, honestly, because they can beat City, but then they can lose to West Ham.
Inconsistent.
But you're conceding 3 goals as well. It's not like it's a bad day at the office, 2-1 or 1-0, or it's a lucky goal. Like, these are bad goals at Chelsea conceding. I was speaking to my mate OJ, and he was like, where are our fullbacks? Like, we don't. Where's our left backs?
Alonso's too far forward.
We don't have left backs. How can a big club like Chelsea not have? Anyway, but yeah. So it's a toss up for me. 4th, I can't say right now. But Liverpool, City, Man United, and somebody else. That's it.
Okay. Because they're not committed. That's fine.
Right now, honestly, like the way they're playing. Sorry for just cutting you off, but
no, it's okay.
I hate Spurs more than Man United. I do dislike Man United, but it's more like I just enjoyed the rivalry we used to have, because that's when I started really watching football.
Yeah.
And when I was sort of really involved when Arsenal and Man United were just having those great games. But and just it's kind of nice just seeing youngsters also. I respect Oli and Arteta, and I respect Emery as well, because he brought a lot of those youth in. I do respect that. And seeing people like Mason Greenwood shine, like as just a football fan, I think that's amazing, because he's one of those players. I remember speaking to Old Man G off air. Like, if he was at a Dortmund right now, like, he would, man. The way they coach attacking players over there is incredible.
He's
like
my man's gonna probably score, I don't know, 100 goals.
Mason, we'll see. See.
I mean, he's probably he's on his way. Honestly,
Josh, you said it was gonna be Arsenal Man United was gonna be a great rivalry. It still is a great rivalry next season when we thrash you 5-0.
Yeah, I mean, you haven't beat us this season.
I was gonna say that will get mentioned.
But no, I'm just saying. Obviously the rivalries in the past were really good. Even though obviously United.
It's like Liverpool and City now. That were Man United and Arsenal back in the day.
It was, those were the kind of glory days for Arsenal, which unfortunately in the past. But like I said, it's a transitional phase, and what I like most is when I see managers bringing players from the academy. Honestly, it's that's what we need. Like I obviously City have their checkbook policy and all that, but I'm happy for Ben. I'm happy for Ben Foden. I'm really happy for Ben Foden, because he's probably one of Phil Foden. Sorry, Ben Foden. Ben Foden's a rugby player, but, because Phil Foden's in that kind of group. And he's definitely a special talent. So, but yeah, that's my predictions anyway.
Okay, LB, what are your thoughts on top 4 after the events of this week?
just like I predicted when football or the EPL came back, I think it's going to be a really tight sort of battle over the next couple of weeks for third and fourth spot. I think, with Leicester City and knowing the games that they have to play, I think they'll drop out. Look, to be honest, it might even come down to the Manchester United Leicester City game later this month, if I'm correct. If I saw on the fixture, I think they're scheduled to play each other on the 26th. Again, I might be wrong, but obviously Manchester United are playing very well. Chelsea are playing well against the big clubs, and there's for some reason losing against the clubs who are sort of towards the bottom of the ladder. Leicester City, I always said that Leicester City would perhaps struggle after the break, with the players in which they have, and not as perhaps posh as the United, Chelsea, and the Man City players. So I think Chelsea should come. I think Chelsea and United should make third and fourth spot, and with Leicester City dropping out.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, Tom, thoughts on top four?
Oh well, I said in the fan cam, I said about Everton. Yeah, and everybody laughed at me. Everybody laughed at me about that. Yeah. And I knew Ancelotti was going to do something against Leicester. I knew. So good tactically in the way he sets his teams up. Unless Leicester haven't got an easy run in. And you talk about the top four teams, Chelsea, Wolves, Man United and Leicester. Man United have got the easier running, but obviously there's teams like Southampton. I'm
gonna nip you there for 2 seconds, Tom. And not because we've got the quality, but I'll actually just look at Manchester United's running. Okay, so Bournemouth, Aston Villa, Southampton, Crystal Palace. Just those four. Okay, and okay, let's say let's include West Ham in that as well, because those are so easy, right?
The only game I'd say
early in the season, we've only taken 2 points from those teams.
Yeah, I know.
We lost against Bournemouth. Yeah, lost against Bournemouth, lost against Palace, lost against West Ham, drew against Villa, and drew against Southampton. So that's 2 points. So that run, even though it's easy, isn't easy, because in the early season we only took 2 points to a possible. But anyway, so I just want to put that point. So but go on.
There's two things that I like to mention. I'm not as confident as I was about the top four, learning what I've just learned about an hour ago. Paul Pogba and Bruno Fernandes have both had training injuries.
No.
That's fake. It's just a parody account.
It's fake, Tom. Yeah. The Daily Mirror. Yeah, the Daily Mirror. The Daily Mirror sort of they reported, it wasn't them, just the Daily Mirror, the Sun, and the Daily Mail. The three triads of trash.
I just saw loads of alerts come up saying Pogba and Fernandes. I was like, oh god. That's
a parody account.
Yeah. So what happened is that it was a parody account, but then for some reason the Daily Mail, but certainly the Daily Mail, which was quoted by other sources, the Sun, Metro, they quoted the Daily Mirror, who basically referred to this parody account. And only about just an hour ago, the Daily Mail put a Twitter out saying, it was basically balls. So it's more than terrible Daily Mail journalism than actually any truth. There's no truth to it.
Well, I was panicking for a second then. Anyway, but the second point I was going to make. I don't know if some people have actually know this or anything. Out of all the games, obviously Leicester is a big game, being at the end of the season and where Leicester are in the league. I think that's going to be a big game in terms of Man United. But one team I think who are just a stumbling block, especially if you've got to play them when you're at home. I know Wolves have to play them at home, and I think Chelsea have to play them at Stamford Bridge, and that's Southampton. And the reason why I'll say that is Southampton over nobody actually know. I'm not sure if people know this. Over Europe's top 5 major leagues, Southampton haven't lost an away game for 14 games straight. They've not lost an away game. They've not drew. They've not nothing. They've not lost an away game for 14 games. And obviously Man United have to play them. Chelsea have to play them. That is not, and with players such as like Danny Ings in that getting put forward for the Player of the Month and everything, and the goals that he's scoring at the moment, I think obviously they're a bogey team. Not just
Southampton have not lost an away game, really.
Not for a few games. I think it's
Really?
14.
Yeah, that's interesting because someone was telling me about how St Mary's is.
Yeah,
They-
and then
so they
3-0 against Norwich.
they lost just last week. Just last week they lost to Watford. The 28th of June here. Watford won, Southampton 3.
No,
Yeah.
Southampton beat them.
Southampton beat.
So Southampton beat them. Sorry, that's my bad. Sorry. I'm reading that wrong.
Keep scrolling up and
Let's
you'll
go on,
see
let's have a look.
away results.
So beat Norwich.
West Ham won. Look,
No, yeah,
That was
so
that
West-
was a cup game, I think, wasn't it?
that was no, Premier
League.
League. Premier League. Okay, so West
Anyway,
Ham.
they've got a really
Yeah.
good away record. Anyway,
Yeah.
that's from what I saw.
Okay. I mean, they lost to
Anyway,
Spurs.
I mean,
In
anyway,
terms
yeah.
of
Okay.
yeah.
Go on.
In terms of it, anyway, but
Go on.
obviously, when you actually look at the league table and everything, there's 4 teams covered by a 3-point gap. No team really can afford to slip up. Leicester, they need to hit the ground running if they want to make the top 4. They're not in the transition phase of we're 7 or 8 points clear now. 3 teams. You lose one game, you might ruin your chances. It's obviously in Chelsea and Leicester's hands at the moment, but it can change with just losing one game. Sheffield United have lost 2. Probably when they lost 2 games, everybody ruled them out straight away. It only takes a couple of losses or a couple of draws, and you're majorly out of it. In terms of it, obviously, what Josh said earlier, it's really the only thing, bar probably a relegation battle, that's really entertaining in the Premier League at the moment. The top 4 race and relegation, that's it, really. And I think in person, I think 3 teams do deserve it in my eyes. I think Chelsea do deserve it. I think the way Leicester were this season, they had a new manager bounce in Brendan Rodgers and everything. That always plays a part in the team's success. I think Wolves deserve it with how they've played over the season and how Nuno's obviously built that team up from a championship team to playing in Europe, over a 2-year period. I think that's absolutely amazing. And credit to him and that. And I think Man United obviously deserve it. They've gone, I think it's 15 games unbeaten now in all competitions. So I'd say that, obviously. And I think Chelsea this season have shown, to say Chelsea played with a load of youngsters at the start of the season, and they've played with youngsters all the way through, Tammy Abraham, Hudson-Odoi, Billy Gilmore and all them, Kurt Zuma, all these loanees who have been loaned out over the years. To say where they are now, I think that deserves huge respect to Frank Lampard. And I think just them 3 teams deserve it just that more than Leicester for me, because of where they've had to come from. And Leicester have just sat back for the last, I think they've played 3 games by now. They've just sat on the seats and just thought, oh, you know what, we're 8 points clear, we're untouchable, nobody can catch us. But obviously the pack's closing in, and I think they need to start winning games. It's the same way you draw a game, you're in trouble. You lose a game, you're in major trouble. But in terms of my predictions haven't changed. I think Chelsea will come 3rd. I think Man United will sneak 4th, and I think Wolves will come 5th. But I think Wolves will qualify for the Champions League because of Manchester City's ban. They'll get taken down to a year. So I think they'll come 5th and they'll qualify, and deservedly. And I think Leicester, before at the start of the season, if you said to Leicester, "Oh, you'll play in the Europa League next year," they'd bit your hand off to play in Europe. Any team would. Burnley would. Southampton would. Yeah, they'll take anything to play in a European competition. So I don't think they'd be too bothered, anyways. So in terms of that, I just think with obviously Wolves, I'm going to say, people might think I'm ridiculous in what I'm going to say here. I think Wolves, if they recruit younger players, because obviously Jimenez is 29, João Moutinho's aging, all these players are aging. If they recruit some more good young players, under Nuno and everything, I think they can be up there with the likes of Liverpool and Manchester City. You know, I think they've got an amazing coach in Nuno Espirito Santo. I think they'll be lucky to keep him over the next 3 years if a top team in Europe sacks the manager. You know, talk about Real Madrid or something. I think he'd be a good fit at Real Madrid, to be honest. Tactically, he's amazing. He's got some of the best results in the league. You know, who can say that they've beat Pep Guardiola twice in a Premier League season? He's beat. You know, Wolves have beat Manchester City 2-0 at the Etihad, and then they beat them 3-2 at Monolou. You know, I think Wolves definitely deserve to play in Europe's top league, and I think obviously they'll cause some teams some damage in that competition if they can keep hold of some of the players and everything. So I'd probably say Chelsea for third place, Man United for fifth, and Wolves for fifth, and then Leicester for sixth. And then obviously you can go down to Spurs and Sheffield United for last Europa League place.
Okay, that Leicester dropping that far. Okay, fair enough. K-Side, quick thoughts on who's gonna get top four based on what's happened this week.
Okay, I'm gonna give you at the start my predictions. So, by the way, the fourth position, right? Don't say, "Oh, you're a liar," because I don't know if I was joking, like, because it might be a joke, right? Or I might have been serious. I can't remember. I think I was just joking, right? So at the start of the season, I predicted Liverpool to win the title, Man City to finish second. Surprisingly, I predicted Arsenal to finish third because they bought Pepe and that. And fourth, I actually predicted Wolves, but it was jokingly I predicted Wolves because of their players. I thought maybe they'd get top four because at the start of the season, you know, United, Chelsea didn't buy any players that much, that quality. I thought Wolves could finish fourth, jokingly, but maybe seriously. Now, I'm going to bring a stat up, right? In the Premier League season, Manchester United have not won 3 games in a row. Like, 3 games in a row. They've not won any 3 games in a row. And tomorrow is our 3rd game in a row against Bournemouth. If we win tomorrow, I have confidence that we can get top 4. If we don't win tomorrow, this just proves our inconsistency. Now, of course, if we win tomorrow, we'll go 4th before Chelsea play
on goal
in the
difference.
evening.
On goal difference.
No, it's not on goal.
Oh, no, it's not on goal. He's right, actually.
Wait.
Because
it is. I'm getting mixed up with Leicester and 3 points. Yeah, go on, sir. That's my fault.
You're right.
So we actually could be maybe even 3rd tomorrow if Leicester and Chelsea drop points. So, look, I think Leicester.
This is assuming that we batter Bournemouth like 5 goals and Leicester concede. I think Leicester's goal difference is they've got 29, we've got 20. So we'd have to batter Bournemouth at least 5, which is possible. Let's not be. If you concede 4 goals to Newcastle, it's possible. It's possible to be battered by United 5. You know, let's be real here. You know, so but Leicester themselves would have to lose to Crystal Palace by a few goals for the chip. But I see your point. But anyway, go on, KSI. You're making good points.
So yeah, I think Leicester won't get it because they don't personally have squad depth and all that on the bench, and I think their mentality is gone. So that leaves us with. Show me 1 second. That leaves us with 3 contenders: Wolves, United, Chelsea, and maybe Sheffield United. Maybe.
They'll need other results to win the favour.
Yeah, but I think maybe clubs and that might drop points. Who knows? I think Wolves will drop points. I don't think Wolves will get it. Chelsea, I think, also will drop points. United, I think, will probably draw a game or so. I think that this year's top 4 is going to be Liverpool first, Man City second, Wolves third, Chelsea fourth, and Man United fifth. I don't have confidence in United. I really I said that I just don't have confidence that we'll get top four. And if we do get Champions League, which I do think we will, because
Wait,
of the Man City ban.
you think the United? You don't think the United aren't going to get top four?
No, I think we'll. No, I don't think we'll get the top four. I think we'll get Champions League though from fifth. Because City's banned.
From earning fifth spot.
KSI, can I just ask you a question there? There? Right, if Man United were in the position that Leicester are in, or they were in the position that Chelsea are in, where they're already in the top four and they've got a points lead on other teams, would you be more confident or would you not? Would your opinion change?
My opinion would change if if Man United was third, right? They were 3 points ahead of the fifth position, right?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
We played Bournemouth tomorrow. If we won the game, then yes.
Because we'd be 6 points clear, depending on other results.
Yes, then I'd be confident. Now I'm thinking that, look, Manchester United have a great squad. I think we'll get top four. Look, for Old Man G, right? I think we'll get top four, but my, confidence and nerves think we won't get top four. That's what I'm basically saying. So basically, I'm using reverse psychology, and making us get top four. So that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
But personally, I think it could go either way. I think the next 2 weeks will be a big factor. So yeah, that's my view.
And there's obviously a lot of fixtures to play, so injuries can happen and fitness levels can go down and whatnot.
Yeah.
All these other factors.
Okay. I think that's the case has gone. Before I'm going to give my quick thoughts now. I'll quickly go to BD Core, who's just come in. Sorry, Kiss. I was going to write Adam. Okay. So just my thoughts before, and then I just want to have just a brief conversation about if Liverpool. Literally be brief because I thought we'd get some Liverpool fans here, but we don't. So we'll just quickly have a brief, quickly go around. Do people think that Liverpool can win the title next year? Just brief, and then move on to Real Madrid, and then weird transfers. Because I don't want this to go on for too long. My thing with the top four thing here is right now is as a lot. We obviously have to bear in mind fixtures. We obviously have to bear in mind the amount of the injuries and stuff like that as well. But also we've got to look at form, and at the end of the day, seeing Leicester, because I think a lot of people don't really appreciate the fact that Leicester's form even before lockdown wasn't great.
No, it wasn't.
I think they've got 1 win in 10 or something.
Yeah,
those lines.
it's something like that, and that only came against a team like Norwich.
Exactly, which shows kind of how bad everyone else was at the beginning of the season to show that they've had such a bad run. Now Leicester City, they've got to play Arsenal, they've got to play Spurs, what that means, and they've got to play United as well. So with 6 games left, they've got 15 points. Leicester City to confirm top 4. Leicester City have to win all of their games, because I think United will beat Leicester City Old Trafford.
King Power.
Playing them, or King Power. So I think we'll beat them. I think if we're a fit score, I think we'll beat them. We have to. But I don't think it even gets to that point, because looking at Leicester's form, can I see Leicester City winning all those games, those 5 games back to back?
They'll draw a few.
They'll draw a few.
I'm not sure that if they'll lose anything, but I think they'll draw.
Likewise, is the thing with Chelsea. Chelsea also have 5 games. So looking at their form, especially that West Ham loss, I think they're more likely to win all their games before they meet Wolves. But do I think they will win all of them? I'm not 100% sure. Because I think that Liverpool, I don't think it'll be easy. And
Liverpool
I think
have
that
nothing to play for.
they've got nothing to play for, but
They might want to do him a favour and give him 3 points for
they might.
winning title.
They might, but it's at Anfield, so unlike the
Yeah.
City game, so and I've always feel like do Liverpool really want to be spanked 3 or 4-0 at Anfield, even though they're no fans? I don't know. I don't think so. So I would be.
Well, there needs to be an improvement from the City game.
No, of course it does. So essentially, what I'm saying is that, like, I think, to be honest, the team to look at is Wolves, because I think if Wolves beat Arsenal tomorrow, and we'll see what happens. If Arsenal beat Wolves, then I think that I don't think Wolves can, because I think some of Wolves' games are a bit tricky. But if Wolves do beat Arsenal tomorrow, I think that's a statement. And I think that people would need to look at them, especially Chelsea, because Chelsea have to play Wolves at the end of the season. And if Wolves beat Chelsea, then, yeah, I could easily foresee a situation where you have United and Wolves in the top 4. That's my thing. So anyway, Beatty Calls disappeared. Let's just quickly just sort of go around and the second part of this, Liverpool's future. Now, obviously, people saw the Liverpool game; they got battered, etc., which was funny, very funny. 4-0, man. Still partying. Do you think that? Because I'm sure LB and obviously KSI will. No, that was on another podcast segment, and I was getting bantered by Liverpool fans, Chelsea fans, all the rest of it. We're gonna Europa League, all the rest of it. Liverpool are gonna dominate for years, and all I just said was, you know what? Let's just see what happens. Okay, there's plenty of games left to play. Let's not be reactionary. Lo and behold, this week happened, and HH, who maybe some of you guys know, has had a mini rant about West Ham the other day, and I just kept quiet because I knew that there's more games to play. But focusing on Liverpool, and so Ilya says, I can't see Arsenal beating Wolves, okay, and Leicester City will go down. Josh, going back to you, Josh, again, do you think that Liverpool can actually win the title next season?
Yeah, I mean, the game against City, I know they got battered, but I mean, I don't think they would have stopped partying until. I know we're professionals here and stuff like that, but you haven't won a title in 30 years. You're going to be buzzing. You're going to be drinking, doing whatever you can for those next 3 days. So, fair play to City for beating them. They still beat them at the end of the day. Only the second team to beat them in the league this season. So, but yeah, Liverpool will just, they'll go back again into next season. I don't know how long a break there's going to be until the next season. I don't know if it's going to be a couple of weeks or a month. Yeah, so in a way that suits teams like Liverpool because they barely need any rest anyway, But the only thing that does worry me is striker. So obviously, most of their goals come from Mane and Salah. But, sometimes when Mane and Salah aren't firing, Firmino's not really the type of player who's, he's like a false nine. He comes back.
Like a link-up striker in a sense.
Yeah, like, I can't even think who I can compare him to. Yeah. And so, with the whole Werner thing, I honestly thought Liverpool were going to sign Timo Werner. But I know Klopp's not really the type of guy to just sign anybody because. And, at the end of the day, someone's going to have to drop to the bench if Werner gets signed. But I still feel like they do need that out-and-out goal scorer. So it's going to be a tough one next season. I still think Liverpool are favourites, personally.
It says Liverpool will never win the Premier League again.
I don't believe that.
That sounds like someone did. Like, anyway, I'm keeping my it's a clean. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, still, come on, Liverpool. I know City dominated the league the season before, but Liverpool dominated the league the season just now. City were favourites this year, and Liverpool won it. I think Liverpool will be favourites and probably win it. Personally, I think they're only going to get stronger in the transfer. I think they will sign someone. I've got Carragher and all sorts of saying. I don't think that Liverpool will sign anyone. That's a lie. Liverpool definitely signs somebody. It's just depending on where they think they need to strengthen. If people like Naby Keita can stay fit, because honestly,
how do you strengthen a world class starting 11?
honestly, I still think their midfield.
They need a creative. They need to create a midfielder.
Player. Yeah.
Right?
They need a creative midfielder.
And Naby Keita is great, but he's in and out of the team. Like their normal midfield is Wijnaldum, Fabinho, and Henderson. And that's what you're going to get with that midfield: hard work, and Fabinho is one of the best CDMs in the world. So, but there's not a lot of creativity there. And Keita does bring that, but he's still not like a number 10. He's like a when you saw him play at Leipzig, he was like box to box. So I still feel like they're missing that creative player. Because then if you have that, you don't really necessarily need that out and out goal scorer. But what number 10s are there out there? And would Klopp really change that system as well? Because obviously when Coutinho was there, they played like a 4-2-3-1, I guess you could call it.
They played something different.
But which world class number 10s are out there? They're not going to spend 60, 70 million on Havertz. No way.
Maybe even more.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, City probably would, but they've got De Bruyne, so that would be stupid. But yeah, I think honestly, I still would class Liverpool as a favourite, but at the same time, that would just make it more interesting if they didn't win it, because I'd be buzzing. If someone new, someone who hasn't won it before, maybe, who hasn't won it in a while. Sorry. Yeah, I mean Wolves. That would be. Well, you can never knock it. Obviously, what Leicester did a couple seasons ago.
That's what I mean.
And their manager is fantastic. What he's done from getting promoted from the Championship to qualifying for the Europa League in the first season, and then possibly maybe even winning the Europa League. Who knows? Like, they're doing well there.
Yeah, they could still win it.
And now even talking about top 4 this season, that is what I call progression. So yeah, I think it's going to be. I don't think it's definitely not going to be as broad as it was this season, with Liverpool 20 points ahead of everyone. I don't think it's going to be like that next season at all. I think there's some sides have really, really strengthened. Your Chelsea's, I think Man United are going to strengthen again, possibly Sancho. Say Chelsea are going to look good. Arsenal, I think, will strengthen Arsenal. I'm not saying they're going to be title contenders or anything like that. I'm just saying I think they're going to be a lot stronger next season. So yeah, it's going to be, next season's going to be fantastic, man. But still, for me, Liverpool favourite.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Moving on, I think KSI said that. Sorry, that was KSI. KSI said that he's going to head up in a bit. So do you want to speak about your thoughts on Liverpool? Winning a title next season, potentially.
Yeah. I think Liverpool this season deserve the league. They're a very good side.
KSI.
Yep. Keep going. We can hear you. Keep going.
All right. I think they're a very good side. They got very good players. The one thing I think Liverpool lack is squad depth. And personally, I think Salah, Mane, Firmino, I think that's dead. I think they need more young players like who's a good I think Liverpool need forget Arsenal, man. They're not going to sign anybody. I think the young player that Liverpool need, I don't think you guys have heard of him. I think he's from Benfica and he's in Portugal. He's 20 years old, Florentino.
Okay.
They need a midfielder. And I think that player could be very perfect for Liverpool. Plus, Florentino brings, he's a young player and Klopp can develop him into a world-class player, like he's done with Salah, Mane, and Firmino. I think Liverpool Man City are the favourites next season, according to the bookies. I think if they get Koulibaly, they. I think Liverpool get Man City get Koulibaly, right? Man City's
Well, we'll
defense, I
see.
think, is gonna.
See.
But I think Man City's defense will be way better. Um, I think Man City's problem this season has been they're not consistent, and I don't think they really had the um mentality this season. I don't know why. I don't think they had the mentality after they lost to Norwich. I think they looked defeated. I think Liverpool wanted to win the Premier League more than Man City. I think Liverpool will not win the Premier League. If you think Liverpool win the Premier League, you're stupid next season. I think you are very stupid because they win they
They
win
won
the
the league by 20 points this season. They've got to be favourites, aren't they? Come on.
You
no
think
no
so?
no. They will not win the league. They will not win the league. It's because they win the league.
You've got to be
Like that
careful,
other guy said.
KSI. People will clip this video. They'll clip the video and then
And
They'll use it.
play
time.
it. They'll use it. So you've got to be careful when you say a definitive statement. So like,
I'm not like that guy in the comments that said Liverpool won't win the league like ever. They will win the league probably I say in the next 10, 20 years. But I think personally Man City are the favourites, and I think
even with a
looking at it,
potential transfer ban, they're still the favourites.
Yeah.
yes,
No, I don't
because
see
And no Sane now.
I think personally, right?
exactly.
Sorry, not your
I
transfer,
don't
European ban. Sorry, go on.
I don't want Liverpool to not challenge because I want Liverpool to challenge, but we beat them like Manchester United, right? And Liverpool challenge for the Premier League. Man United beat Liverpool because it'll be more like more happy for me, more relaxed for me. I think
It-
Man City, right, are favourites next season, as you know. Liverpool, they need players in this summer. If they don't get players in this summer, forget about the league, forget about Champions League,
so my
forget
question,
about.
my question, KSI, is like, is my issue with my query is that like we don't know like what players City are going to be getting into the summer, whether they're going to be allowed to. You also got to bear in mind if this Champions League ban happens, what top players are going to come to City if they're not going to be playing in the Champions League? And the big
Look, man.
thing that people forget is that Pep Guardiola is going into his last year of his contract. Okay, like you don't know when it affects a team when you've got a manager that's going to last year's contract, and if they City have this ban, all the players are going to be thinking, right, okay, going to last year, well, Pep's leaving, Kevin De Bruyne is leaving, all these other players are leaving, so you've got to bear that in mind.
Oh, Randy, I was happy there, man, because you know how he said last year of his contract. He's after he won the Premier League. Remember the Centurions when they won the Premier League? He signed a 5-year deal. He signed a 5-year deal.
He signed a 5-year sponsorship deal. That's why.
No, he signed a
A
5-year
manager
deal.
has to sign sponsorship deals.
He's definitely
No,
he's
it's-
Yeah, a
definitely
5-year sponsorship deal.
Yeah,
Not a contract.
He's definitely going into his last year of his contract in Manchester City. I can show the BBC News article and stuff like that as well. But like, and he's been asked about it, and he's kept quite coy. So,
Yeah, he's not wanted to talk about it.
yeah, and I think that's predominantly because he's still waiting to see what's happening regarding the ongoing City, which we'll find out next. I think on the 13th of July, we'll find out if they're going to get banned or not. So that's what I'm saying. It's like the opposite could happen. Liverpool might go potentially unchallenged because you'll have a coach who he'll obviously be the next season, but he'll be thinking about the next team, the next place. You have the Barcelonas and all the likes that will be trying to poach him. And there'll be players as well, top players like De Bruyne and so on, who will also be thinking about where they'll be going next season. So I don't think you're going to see players that are going to be focused, a manager that's going to be focused next season if this transfer ban stays the same. And that might give Liverpool the opportunity they need.
I'll bring one more thing, a couple of more things up before I leave.
Is this based on the topic?
Yes.
On this Liverpool. Okay, go on.
Premier League and that, yeah. I think Liverpool and their team Yes, they were partying and all that. Yes, they lost. But yesterday, I did not see a team that were hungry, motivated to win, to go and get 100 points plus. I didn't see a team. I don't think they have mentality to win
There's
it
no
next
trophy
season.
for 100 points plus, though. Like, I mean, it's a
Yeah,
good
yeah,
If you win
achievement, but I
100
mean,
points, right? If
sorry?
you win 100 points at Liverpool after 30 years and you've got 100 points, of course they want to get the 100 points.
No, come on. There's no. It's
No,
like when people
it's
kick about.
just a record. It's just
Yeah,
another one of the
Mm.
records.
yeah.
See,
They
Like
got
it's,
what they wanted.
See, if I was a Man United fan and we won the Premier League, I'd say no. If we have the chance to get 100 points, get.
no. Like it's like if I agree with from the winner point
Yeah.
mentality, but
I
at the
want
same
to.
time,
I want to look back as a Man United fan. If we did win the league and we're near 100 points and we do it, I want to look back at my life, right? And as a football fan, and know that my team, the first time I ever saw Man United lift the Premier League, they 100 points, right? They won the league and they got 100 points, and they had a phenomenal season. If that was Liverpool, right? After 30 years,
you don't
and
get a
and some
trophy.
kids,
You don't get a
and some
trophy
no,
for
no,
100 points,
It,
no,
though.
it's not like the Invincibles, and you get a golden Premier League for going unbeaten.
And
Stop, man.
even
Because
that,
you
like,
people, right? You don't want the 100 points. I want the 100 points. I want everything as a fan. And
yeah, but
these
it doesn't.
Liverpool
If the points don't, this is what I'm saying. It's like the Invincibles thing as an example, because if the Invincibles didn't win the Premier League, then
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that they went unbeaten for a whole game, because
Exactly.
because they've not got a trophy. So at the end of the day,
if
like,
Liverpool, you won a Premier League trophy. Go for the 100 points.
no. It doesn't.
No.
It, like, I see your point.
Nah.
I see your point in terms of
Nah.
training, but at the end of the day, like, Liverpool fans, and the coach are more concerned about the fact they've actually got the Premier League title. The 100 points thing, like, just is like it's irrelevant, because at the end of the day, you're not getting and especially if their players get injured for next season, long term, etc. Like, why push? There is, accept your point in terms of winners mentality, but like, it's not 100 points. Is only. Like, even when Man City were bragging about it, like, oh yeah, we achieved 100 points. It's like, for me,
Nah, man.
defending
Who
it.
cares about Man City? Who cares? They're just a plastic club.
No, but I mean, in terms of
Look at Liverpool. Old Man G. If Man United went 30 years without a title, and we won the league, and we're getting 100 points after 30 years,
I would care more about I'd care more about defending that title.
Yeah.
So I don't care about 100 points. I want you to defend that. So if I'd be more impressed with Liverpool this season if Klopp actually was able to defend the Premier League title, especially with these same players, than whether he got 100 points in another,
that
season.
Wouldn't even be talked about if he got 100 points.
No.
All that'd be talked about is that he went and won the Champions League. And the
when Man City got that last season, like, people were just more bothered that they won the league.
Yeah,
exactly. Like, no one really talked. No one really
talked. Shout out to Rasmus, by the way. Hope you're doing well, buddy. Get your questions in, Rasmus.
100 points is kind of just like the icing on the cake.
I want to bring up another point.
Okay, last point, because we need to move on to topics, because we've gone on for about. But go on.
I'll just talk about just two more things, if that's fine.
One more, because we're gonna move on.
Chelsea, right? Chelsea. I think Chelsea have a chance if they get defenders. I think if Chelsea get defenders right, I think they might win the league. But final topic, right? Liverpool. Now, the consistency. Now, can they win the league next season?
That's literally what this conversation has been about. That's what we're talking about.
They have a chance of winning it. But
everybody has a chance.
They will win it. I don't think they will win it because their players are getting older. They probably think they're better than Liverpool. Plus, if you're bringing up the Man United, Sir Alex Ferguson, look at Sir Alex Ferguson and Man United. They're I don't know that much because I wasn't born then, but I've heard lots of things saying that they were like so many young players back then. They were motivated. They were hungry to win titles before they retired. That is a fact. Now, Liverpool don't have any good young players that want to be hungry and that. They don't have
That's
any
not
good
true.
young players.
That is
Name me
definitely
one
not
that's
true.
not
good
true.
Liverpool
I'll
young
let
player.
you finish. I'll let you finish, but that's definitely not true.
Let Kesa finish. Okay, go on.
Don't bring up Harvey Elliott because he's not going to be
But
a
I
very
wasn't
good
going to
vet.
bring up him anyway. I
They
was
were going to bring up
two
like
others.
Trent
I wasn't either.
Alexander-Arnold, for example.
Robertson.
Yeah, and like
Trent
Yeah,
Jones and
Alexander-Arnold,
stuff.
that's one player. That is one player.
and his
Name
backup, the backup right back.
No,
Yeah,
they're
that's
not
Williams.
great players. They are
Joe
not
Gomez.
great players.
Brewster.
There's a lot of
Brewster
players.
might be a great player. Brewster might be a great player.
The
Trent
left back as
Alexander-Arnold
well. I
might be a
forgot his
great player.
name.
Oh, let me finish.
Yeah,
Trent
you can finish.
Alexander-Arnold might be a great player. Brewster might be a great player. But those are the only two that can be great players. Maybe even Curtis Jones. That's 3. No more. Don't name
That's loads.
Yeah,
Young
but
players.
the thing you don't understand, Kisa, is that who is making these players great? Who's making them? Like the manager in terms of Klopp. So the thing is that
They're not great players.
no, but I'm saying it's like Sané, Firmino, Mane, all those players. Were those players great players before they came to Liverpool? Who made them great players?
Mane was.
He wasn't a great.
Nah,
wasn't
Mane
a great
was playing
player.
for Southampton,
He
bro.
wasn't
He
great.
was a prospect player because he was
Yeah.
really young.
The
Same
point-
with
And
Salah.
he's turned out to be a good player, and he's turned out
Yeah.
to be a world-class player.
Yeah. What
Because he
was
had the time to develop.
what we're saying is that it's
You
all
say that,
what you're
right?
talking about
You say
development
that
is about
even
the
though
coach.
you say that
I think
even
we might
though
as well
Man
move on to
United
it.
you say that even though Man United were interested in him. Even though
We
United
were.
were interested.
Yeah, we were. And
And
then
look who's
I
interested
think
in him.
and if he gone
well,
to and
that's probably a good time to move topics, I reckon.
Yeah.
But
okay.
my favorite thing on this
We're done with Liverpool. We're done with
Yeah.
no, we're not
Yeah,
done.
I thought this is a Man United fan channel.
Yeah. Make sure you make your final point, Kiss, and then we need to move on. Literally, you have 10 seconds.
Manchester United will win the Premier League in the next 2 years. And look at this guy. Look at this
Oh dear.
guy.
Oh God.
You forgot Klein.
Hold on, let me just record that.
Yeah,
It's
get
there.
it
It's in
recorded.
the archives.
Get recorded.
It's in the archives.
Don't
Right,
worry.
let's move on. Real Madrid title to lose. Real Madrid title to lose. Let's move on from the Premier League and let's actually think of
Tell
the league.
me to go to sleep and forget Klein, okay?
Oh,
Do not
Okay.
tell
Ilya.
me.
Kesai.
Just go to sleep.
Ilya.
Buddy,
We're
whatever you
moving
need to
on.
do.
We're moving on.
Ilya's trolling him. Ilya's trolling him in the comments. To be fair, so,
We're moving on. We're moving on. Right.
Wait, I
Real
need to see my buy.
Okay.
Okay.
All right,
Take
guys. I'm
take it,
gonna-
buddy.
Take care, buddy.
See you in a bit.
Take care, mate.
okay, man.
Oh
Okay,
yeah,
bye-bye,
no,
bro.
Bye.
stop.
Cool. Right. Okay.
Yo,
Right.
he's one of a
Okay.
kind, isn't he?
He
He's one of
is.
a kind. Let's be honest.
He is.
He brings the excitement into the. It's funny.
Right. let's quickly move on. Okay. So because we don't have a lot of time. Real Madrid's title to lose. For those who have obviously been looking at Liga, and as you can see from the table, Real Madrid are 4 points clear of Barcelona right now, with I think 4 or 5 games to go. I'll just get Real Madrid's fixtures up.
I think it's 5.
5 games, sorry, 5 games to go. They've got Athletic Club away, Alaves, Granada, Villarreal, a bit tough, and Leganés. In response, Barcelona, who are behind them, have Villarreal, tough, Espanyol, Valladolid, Osasuna, and Alaves. Is this Real Madrid's title to lose now? Because with those games, I just can't see how
It's in their own hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
They can't lose this. I can't remember the last time Real Madrid actually won the Liga. It must have been at least 2 years ago, because I think Barcelona won it 2 years straight.
Yeah, they have.
It was one of the years where they won the Champions League, I think.
16, 17, I think.
16, 17.
Yeah, I think
yes.
it was that season.
So, and I'll go back to Josh. Like I said, is this Real Madrid's title to lose? Should they? Can they win it? Can they go for it?
Yeah, I mean, I remember talking a few podcasts ago. I said Barcelona are going to win it. I'm allowed to change my mind, right? Because there's no way Barcelona are winning the Liga. There's no way. Like, I didn't realize how bad they were this season. And
Barcelona,
obviously,
yeah.
Yeah, and I know. I mean, Messi's been carrying Barcelona for years now, but like it's really evident how much he's carried them so far. How much he's carried them so far this season. There's just the way they kind of treated Griezmann as well. I don't think it's been great. Like I think even Griezmann's father has come out and said something about Barcelona. So there just seems to be.
Manager.
Yeah, I said about the manager. What's his name? Setién.
Yeah, TK Setién.
That's the one. But it's just Barcelona. If you look at their squad, they're sort of top players. They're all above 30.
Yeah.
Yep.
And obviously they signed the young player, but one young player isn't going to make an aging squad feel younger again. It's they haven't. That's what they need. They've come a long way from promoting their academy players, and the generational talent of Iniesta, Xavi's, Messi's coming from the youth system. They don't have. I've seen Ansu Fati's and people like that. Good players, but they need more than one. They need a team to win trophies. When we looked at the Barcelonas who won the La Ligas and Champions Leagues in the past, these were teams like actual solid teams from the keeper to all the way to the strikers. And I just this Barcelona team it's not good, man. It's really not good. And the thing about Real Madrid, I'm not saying they have the best team, but it's definitely younger. People like Varane are still under 30. They've got. I mean, I'm surprised that they didn't actually sign Hakimi. To be fair, that was a weird one. He's gone to Inter Milan. If anyone didn't,
we'll talk about that in a second.
So they have young players out there who've had game time. They might not be the best, like your Vinicius is, and Valverde looks really, really good. Actually, Valverde looks like a really good talent.
Yeah.
They've got the Mendy guy, don't they? He's apparently
Mendy.
Orlando Mendy.
Yeah.
But is it going to be enough? At the minute, it is. They've definitely got a better squad than Barcelona. Let's be honest. People like Benzema, better manager, exactly. If Real Madrid bottle this, then
there's something wrong with Real Madrid.
Seriously wrong, yeah. But this is really Real Madrid to lose.
Okay, LB, what are your thoughts?
Quite similar in the sense that I think it's in Real Madrid's hands now. It's theirs to lose, and let's just hypothetically say that they were to go and win the title this season. It'd be an enormous achievement for a club that's had so much success and who sort of have been on the transition for the last season and a bit since losing Ronaldo, and their players obviously getting a little bit older and bringing back Zidane. So it might be sort of that step in the right direction for them to get back to sort of that top elite club in Europe, in which they've been they've had they've sort of had that mantle over the last 3-4 seasons when they've won the Champions League, and obviously last season when they were knocked out against Ajax, everyone thought that their time was up and they were finished, but they've been able to sort of turn it around, within the space of half a season by, bringing back Zidane and Hazard and all these quality players, and having the money in which they do does help. But you look at all the other clubs in Europe who have got the money and can't even win a Champions League, i.e. PSG. So I think certainly it's looking good for Real Madrid and it's theirs to lose, but I think they can go on and win it. As for Barcelona, was this a part of the question as well?
It wasn't. I guess it's not really, but I guess you can't really not
leave them out.
leave them out without addressing Barcelona, really, can you? Because of just what's gone on with them. Yeah,
that's right. I mean, I came across an article during the week. I think it was the headline was something along the lines of top 10 worst Barcelona transfers or players that they've purchased over the last decade.
Yeah, I saw that transfer.
Oh, actually, I think there's a tweet. I think that if that's the same thing, I think it's a tweet that I'll screenshot it, but keep on going, RB. It emphasizes what you're saying.
Oh, I mean, it goes from, I think it starts from 2013 when they signed Alex Song, who was, from memory and nothing signing, to Griezmann, who was obviously signed and purchased by Barcelona recently. And
everyone see that.
Yeah, we can, yeah.
So it's emphasizing your point. It says basically comparing Bayern to Barcelona. So Bayern 130 million, Thiago, Kimmich, Gnabry, Alphonso Davies, Boateng, Sané. Barcelona 140 million, Philippe Coutinho.
Wow.
And he's bottled it.
Wow.
And he's obviously on loan, and he's been on a season on loan at Bayern for just 8.5.
Yeah.
Phenomenal business, man. That's the way the Germans run a club, and the way that Barcelona have. I just thought I'd share it because it emphasizes your point. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, no, I think exactly. And Philippe Coutinho was definitely one of the players that was mentioned amongst a whole heap of others. I think Paulinho, Kevin Prince Boateng, Griezmann, Alex Song, a few others. But like you were saying, Old it's you sort of compare Barcelona's way of purchasing players and their sort of logic compared to Bayern Munich's, and it says it all, doesn't it? So I think they've got real problems, and I think the day they say goodbye to Messi might be a bit of a blessing in disguise for them moving forward.
Fair enough. Yeah, it's dark there, and as I think Ilya even says, rumors Messi leaving Barcelona. Now, I'm always kind of tetchy with all this kind of, because he's this kind of story news always comes up every other year when Messi's not happy. And the other thing as well is that Messi is now what, 33? 33. So if he's leaving at the end of next season, he'll be 34. And Barcelona board is like the Man United crap low. I agree. Where does he go? Not because I don't think that he couldn't get into any team at 34, but just because of who can afford him, unless his contract expires at the end of next year. Is that correct?
Yeah,
I think it does. Yeah. So he
basically it's like what Ilya's just said there with the Barcelona board being exactly like the Man United board. Exactly the same. Where do you go? Where do you appoint Kike Setien? It's like appointing Neil Warnock as your manager. In terms of the Spanish league, you take a manager who's managed in the second division of the Spanish league for most of his career, and you put him at probably one of the biggest, if not the biggest club in Spain for the last 10 years, along with Real Madrid. Where does that even come from?
They just didn't have any. I just don't think there were any managers. I think from what. No, because the Barcelona tradition is that you get managers that played for Barcelona before. They've had some sort of link with the club, etc. And I don't think any of those teams were available. And I think the plan was that the previous guy, what was his name again? Not Santiago, the guy before him.
What was his name?
That's just
Val something. What was his name? I can't remember what his name. Valverde.
Valverde, yeah.
No. Was it Valverde? Yeah, Valverde, who was a fraud.
Yeah, Ernesto Valverde.
Ernesto Valverde was an absolute fraud. Just a total fraud. So,
Banked 4-0 by Liverpool.
It's just
over 2 legs.
Absolute. And he was there when they got spanked by Rome the previous season. So
yeah, exactly.
That's right.
But this is. It's the whole players versus Barcelona and so on, and but just to address Ilya's question, I guess he could. I guess he could go to walk into any team. I guess it just depends on managers are available. I think the whole thing of him going to Manchester City was always a thing, because I can't see him ever going to Real Madrid. And even Messi at 34, you still think he's got a good how many so years in him, So
2 or 3 years.
Before I go into this keeps on coming up. Zane, rumor Bruno and Pogba are out. Let me nip this in the bud right now. Okay, that was crap.
It's a hoax.
Okay, a hoax from a hoax website that unfortunately the Mirror reported as actual news. It was then picked up by the Sun, the Daily Mail, and Metro. Okay, if you look at the source, it's a hoax website, and the Daily Mail have tweeted and said that like it's bollocks, basically, it's nonsense. So I want to be polite, but it's just unfortunately like that's why I don't believe a lot of these newspapers when they report
They're trying to
anything,
kill people off by giving them heart attacks.
it's just stupid, you know. It's very, very stupid. Elias says I think he will go to City. Yeah, I think he would go to City if City aren't banned from the Champions League and Pep Guardiola is still there.
I mean,
you know,
if I had thrown another name in there, I think it might. It's only might because they've got a lot of money and everything, and obviously they paid an amazing fee for Neymar. Maybe a PSG. Maybe, yeah, but that's the problem, you know. But I think it could work because they could easily just play Mbappe
I feel
and
like you need to
get
go
rid of Cavani.
I feel the Messi strikes me the person that wants to go to a place that like is familiar, like especially at 34.
Yeah,
like he's settled a new sort of place. It's like, you know. So for me,
it'd be different though, seeing him in a different shirt though, other than a Barcelona shirt.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, people got used to Ronaldo and Juventus shirt fairly quickly. So I think that I probably do the same with. I think
Messi's been there his whole career.
Yeah,
Ronaldo's
no, I agree.
Obviously, come from other clubs.
Well, that's why I think that like he'd either go to a place where like he knows the people, like he knew the former Barcelona director, he knows Pep, or he'll go back to Argentina, for example. You know, I just can't see him going to
anywhere
like
else.
a PSG, just random, just sort of, unless like he's got a group of people there that he knows, a base, etc., connections, because he's settled in Spain, you know. So, but anyway, Zane says to you, yeah, buddy, yeah. Oh, Zane says Messi won't leave Barcelona. It's just player power at work again. I think there is an element of that, but I agree with him that I don't think this idea that he signs, like people keep on saying, oh, Messi's the one that's responsible for who comes in and who comes out. I really don't think that Messi sanctioned the move of Dembele, Griezmann, and Coutinho.
He's like the director of football on the field.
Yeah,
it's a difference. Yeah, it's different in
like
Argentina though.
Like that with Ronaldo and De Ligt. That deal was signed on the blooming football field in the Nations League.
Yeah,
Pretty
witnessed it.
Stu MC Shelter says the British press are moronic. That is true. They rate Jack Grealish, a man with 2 through balls in the LPL this season, polishing up another Lallana is scrapping the arse of the barrel. Oh my goodness. No holding back. No holding back. By the way, get your questions in, guys, for the panel. Get your questions in for the panel. Remember to like that vid. I mean, I actually agree with the idea that Jack Grealish is actually overhyped. I don't think he's a terrible player, but when I was starting to see United fans literally saying that Jack Grealish is on the level of Paul Pogba, I was starting to go insane. I was like, guys, come on.
He needs to play for a top team beforehand if you want to criticise somebody for being better than someone like Paul Pogba. Paul Pogba's won a World Cup. What's Jack Grealish won? The championship.
Even just the way they play. Like, I mean, they are different players.
They're different players.
But like they are. So that's the thing. So, but in terms of actual talent, we're just looking at pure talent and ability. You can't say that Pogba is better is worse than Grealish. But some United fans who were drinking a bit too much, we think, thought that at times. So it is what it is. Let's move on to our last topic. And by the way, like guys, for those who are watching, please get your questions in for the panel. Please get your questions in for the panel. Ask away, and we'll be free to address said questions. Zane says no one wore 14. His contract is bonkers, especially during COVID. It was deemed unethical. That's true, but he will leave as a free agent at the end of next season. So it just depends on whether he signs a new contract or not. I suspect he will at the end of the day anyway. And Ilya says, I think Messi can't play another league. Is Barcelona for Argentina? Before I get to Zane's questions, the last segment is of weird transfers. Now, for those of people who are aware, Hakimi obviously went to Inter Milan and Sané went to Bayern Munich. And of course, you had the Pjanic
Half a deal.
the Punch Arthur deal.
Yeah.
I kind of just want to sort of get people just. I mean, like, first of all, let's actually now just get this image up so that people can sort of get an appreciation of Hakimi. Give me just 2 seconds.
How much was that deal actually for him to go to Inter? How much was that?
It was 40 million, I think. 40 million. It wasn't. It certainly wasn't over 50. It was 40 million.
Well, chuffing. Not really broke the bank, have they? Really?
No, not particularly. You know, so bearing in mind they got there we go. That's Hakimi. I got a okay, right. Okay, Josh has set it off. Okay, take care, buddy. Take care.
Yeah, see you later, Josh.
So, what do you think? So, do you think that this is a? I mean, I'm surprised that Real Madrid let Hakimi go. Do you think that this is a brilliant signing for Inter? I think this is a steal.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I think, I mean, Carvajal, with the success he's had at Real Madrid, he's obviously getting older and sort of getting to a stage where, you know, he's probably going to pick up injuries, although when he had all the success at Real Madrid, he still had injuries. But, you know, initially I thought that Real Madrid would be looking to score Hakimi, and it might be
as
just
a replacement.
As a replacement, at least as a replacement. You know, either a bench player or, you know, someone who can start on at times. But no, they've certainly missed out on, you know, quality right back.
No, fair enough. Tom, any thoughts?
Well, all I'll say there is, I think if you go to any team in the world who needs to look for a right back right now, I think Hakimi would be well and truly on the list. Well, obviously not now, but it would have been on the list for sure. You know, a young up and coming right back. I looked at his games with Dortmund, and he's played with someone amazing just in front of him in Jadon Sancho, and they equal each other out because Hakimi will bomb forward, and then Sancho will play him in, and then bang, they'll score, or he'll put a crossing or something for Haaland. And that Dortmund team with him in it, he's definitely been a massive part of that team this season for sure. Just his work rate as well, you know. Not just in possession, out of possession, the way he sprints forward and gets to people. Yeah, I think he's an amazing young attacking fullback. And, you know, people talk about Trent Alexander-Arnold being the best right back, well, in terms of attacking right back in Europe. I think obviously he is. But I think if you talk about somebody who's not necessarily on the same level as him, but is developing into a similar role as, say, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Hakimi would definitely be there for me. But in terms of with what you've just said about it, you know, it cost him 40 million. That, you know, you might have been a coronavirus discount on it from Real Madrid, but 40 million, come on. I said in my fan cam about Sané. That was an absolute steal.
We're going to talk about. But before we go to Sané. So just with some on the comments. So before we get to some of the questions, Zane, we will address your questions in a second. I think Ellis says, I don't like Grealish. I can't see nothing in him. He's for Arsenal, United. CMC, the hype is on par with Havertz. Kai is 20 and 100 times the ball. That Jack at 24 is desperate media. I'm not just firing shots. Zane says, I'd have Hakimi at United if we didn't have Anwar Bissaka, and I'd agree with that because I don't think you can. I don't think you can just go, and I think that would be disrespectful to Anwar Bissaka. And CMC says Hakimi has excelled with Piszczek playing as a converted right centre back. It gives him the license to roam. He was pathetic in a back four Real, much more suited to Conte's back five. Okay, interesting. Yeah,
true, because he can play as a wing back.
No, I agree with that.
Play more attacking.
I agree, and I think this continues to build. You know, and Antonio Conte is quite a shrewd manager, and he's been getting a lot of backing at Inter, and I think he's starting to build. You know, he would have liked to have won the Serie A this season, but I do see
they were close to winning it.
They were close, yeah.
But
I do think that he's building something. He's
definitely building something.
Now, I think this for me, this deal, I think is scary. This deal is this deal is scary because I don't know what you think, guys, but Leroy Sané at Bayern Munich with Lewandowski and Gnabry is that front three.
And Coman's still there as
and
well.
Coman's there, and you're thinking
Alphonso Davies.
Alphonso Davies, Alphonso Davies and Leroy Sané on that side, and you're thinking not only are they with that, they're going to basically decimate the Bundesliga. They're going to win their 10 in a row, no problem.
Oh,
but
100%.
but they are serious. I mean, I don't know whether Sané can play in the Champions League this season. I don't think so. I don't think so. But for next season, Bayern surely must be favourites. Surely with this sort of, I know the defence is still, there's a question mark there.
Yeah, Boateng and that there and stuff.
But they've got to be favoured, surely. I mean, this is a brilliant transfer by bearing in mind that I think did City spend like 50 million to get, what was it, 40 million to get Sané in the first place?
Yeah. They won't have made much profit off of it, probably a couple of million. That'll probably about it.
So what do you think? Do you think this will be a success?
Oh, 100%. 100%. Leroy Sané would be, if I'm a manager, I'm looking at, say, Barcelona, when you look at Messi who's aging, I know they play on different wings, but if I need a player to play anywhere in the front three, Leroy Sané's 100% on the list. And I said in my fan cam, obviously, to you when I mentioned about it and everything, it's an absolute steal. 54.8 million. What's that to a club like Bayern Munich? It's peanuts.
Can Sané Gnabry be the new Robbery? Yeah. So are you talking like the Robin Ribéry type of sorts of thing?
Yeah.
Possibly.
That's been decent, actually.
Possibly.
And obviously, you look at, say, Sané with the way he's fed, say, crosses in, and Sterling have fed crosses in at City to Aguero. Aguero's taken his game to a new level, goal scoring wise, and Lewandowski's obviously done that this season. And I think this Bayern Munich team definitely one to fear for the foreseeable future in a sense. And obviously it's been linked a long time about Sané wanting to join Bayern. In terms of Manchester City, I said to you, Manchester City have gone backwards overnight in a sense because they've lost one of their best attackers.
Yeah.
Sané, for me, he's one of the best wingers in the world. I don't know about anybody else, but I rate him very highly. Very highly.
I do too. Dane does say Bayern and Bottles, they just fade as the competition go on. They get complacent during the season because their league is so easy. I mean, that will always be a thing. That will always be a thing. Because if you don't have the competition, then you don't know what's going to happen. And then Ansaid says Hakimi is a carbon copy of Carvajal. Madrid made a mistake.
Yes.
Well, I don't know.
Unless they have a buyback clause in, say, 2 years' time or something.
I don't know. I think that Carvajal is 28, so he's still. So they don't really need to worry about that. He's still going to be the first choice.
Long term, I think is what people are.
True, but I think that Hakimi would want to obviously play first team, and I think that then he's not going to dislodge Carvajal for at least another 2-3 years.
I'd have probably sent him out on loan to Inter Milan or something, or send him back out on loan to Dortmund.
I think it's with this COVID situation, though. I think a lot of these deals, and this is the same with the I think the Pjanic Arthur deal.
That was weird. I thought that was really weird.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I was gonna talk about like last session. So, but from what I gather with the Pjanic Arthur deal, it was about finances. So it's done in a way that both teams make like 60 million from the deal.
So
that makes any sense.
Hold on. So it's like a swap deal, but
not really.
They're buying the players, but they're earning money off of them.
Yeah. So essentially, to make it simple for people listening, for you guys, like when you buy a player, you can spread the cost over a certain amount of years. So you only declare.
Yeah, so you can pay. So you pay installments.
Exactly. Well, sort of. Yeah. But it's like when you're sort of registering the money, like when you're registering the amount that you pay. Like so, for example, when you register it for the accountants or whatever, you're only saying, right, okay, I'm paid, let's say, £20 million or so. Okay, I suppose a total 40, and that's spread out over several years.
Yeah.
But obviously, then if you then sell that player for, how many so amount, then obviously you will make profit on that player whilst obviously paying. Yeah. So essentially, it kind of works out that both Arthur and Pjanic
they've made a profit on both players in a sense.
Yeah, because they paid, for example, I don't know how long Arthur's been. Let's say Arthur was 50 million, for example. Like Arthur's been at the club for he's got like a year or 2 years in his contract. So and it's the same thing with Pjanic. So yeah, like in simple terms, that's basically what happened.
Yeah. I understand now.
Quick, just before we get into, get your questions in, by the way, guys, get your questions in. We'll last like 10, 15 minutes. We'll just answer questions before we wrap things up. Before we get into that, Schalke's academy is crazy. Özil, Neuer, Matip, Moya Kier, Draxler, Sané, Goretzka, Nubel who was just signed to back up Neuer, McKenzie, etc. It's crazy. That is true. I would have said they were the Southampton of the Bundesliga before Southampton got sort of screwed. Pjanic Arthur deal didn't went through, then Barca might have been banned like City. That's a fair point. Financial fair play. But I also think it was just everything was COVID thing as well. I think that was part of it.
Yeah, every team needs to make money from it. Every team costs money.
United says all the while buying play. Ed, as in Edward is walking dead sleeping. I hate United board.
Actually, can I just bring some?
Go on.
Yeah.
Before I get the questions, yeah.
It was what I just saw before obviously I come onto the stream and everything. I read a couple of articles and everything, and I heard something about Jadon Sancho's apparently agreed terms with United.
Personal terms,
as in personal terms, not as in like a fee or anything. But
we've not been agreed with. Yeah, exactly.
We heard this before with players such as I think it was Griezmann years ago.
Yeah.
We agreed terms with him and everything, but we never offered him any money.
Yeah.
So agreeing terms and
you have to agree a fee with the club.
If you're going to buy a player, put your money where your mouth is, in a sense.
Yeah.
If you're not going to buy a player, then just do one. Go and get somebody cheaper or whatever.
Yeah.
It's funny how United said that they were only prepared to pay 50 million, yet they're going to agree terms with a player to bring him to United. How does that make sense?
I think a lot of it a lot of it is just media speculation as well. Once again, as we've just seen with today of the whole Pogba, people. United are the biggest club in England, no matter what Liverpool fans say, and they're one of, if not the biggest club in the world. And their news around United generates, sells, attracts, advertisement, etc. And so, even if it's true or not, you just report it. So let's go with the questions. So first question is from Zane. Do you think? So this is United. So do you think we can go for the title in 2 years with Sancho, Grealish, and a specialist CDM over the next 2 windows?
Good question.
And I'll keep these answers brief. Tom, LB,
go on, LB.
I think so. I think there'll be definitely valuable players to add to the group that we've already got. I know Sancho has been heavily sort of linked with United, and I don't know whether we don't know whether that deal is going to be finalised or not, or whether it's actually going to happen. But certainly there'll be quality players and give us a chance to win some titles over the next couple of seasons.
Cool. Tom, your thoughts?
I think possibly you'll get, say, Sancho and Grealish maybe in this summer window, and then maybe the next window you'll get, say, the midfielder, just because of obviously losing out on a lot of money and everything while the leagues and everything and countries have been on lockdown. So I don't think we'll get all 3 of them. I think we might get two of the players that we want, not all 3. But in terms of the 2 years, I think we'll get. Well, let's say we did get all 3, for example. I don't think we'd win it. I think it'd take a year just to mix them in with the other players and everything. In a sense, Sancho's got to get used to playing with Martial and such as Rashford week in week out. So obviously it'll take time for him to mix and gel with them players. So I think definitely we're in a 2-year period. Just give it, like I said in my thanker, give it time and just trust the process, because something's being built here, and let him finish what he's building.
Another question by Zane. Thoughts on Bellingham snubbing United?
I'll come back to bite him.
I'm not. Well, you've got to pay how much for it? You've got to pay 23 million for a 16-year-old
Mm.
who might not even turn out in 2 years' time. It might turn out to be one of the worst midfielders in the world. Yeah, he might turn out to be one of the best. You know, he's played in the Championship for Birmingham City, and he wants mega money and everything to come to Man United. I think you just dodge a bullet, to be honest. We've got young players who play in that position in Ghana and
that is true.
And other
That's
players
true.
coming through. You know, would you say Birmingham's better than Ghana?
I think it's the pattern. I think it's just whether there is an issue with like young players, young up-and-coming players, potentially from other clubs or teams snubbing United because they feel like they're not going to. I think that, as I sort of said, I think on a previous video, I said that I think that you're going to find the future. There is the sort of the Sancho effect, and the idea that a lot of British players look at what happened with Jadon Sancho and are saying, why should we, sign a new contract only to either go out on loan or not even go out on loan, just be on the bench or stick in under 23s.
Yeah, it's like Dean Henderson. Where do you fit Dean Henderson in the team? Do you stick him on the bench? You don't want to sit on the bench.
No, exactly.
You'd sooner go and play for Sheffield United for another year.
Exactly. So I think that you're seeing. I think what you're seeing is that a lot of younger players are a lot more open to going abroad because of what Jadon Sancho and the like have sort of done, and so there's not as much of a pressure to be like, oh yeah, you have to stay, try and get in the England team or try and get in your first one. I think there's a lot more of like, yeah, it's cool out here, it's great, it's fine. Like you can make it be a big superstar and so on.
Angel Gomez was never going to break into the first team with such Pogba and Fernandes in his position, in his prime position, was he? So obviously he's going to leave and he's going to go to a team to play first team football. That's the only reason why he'd have left. Otherwise he'd have signed a new contract and sat on the bench like a good little boy and waited for his turn. So it's the exact same with Bellingham. I don't really think they've missed out. What have they missed out on? A young player who is going to probably, it was like what 10 years from his peak.
That's essentially the same question I've asked here. Gomes in one, are United losing the draw? They once had to bring in young players. No. It's literally just what we said. I think of the idea of the Sancho effect. I think that these days now, I think a lot of the British young players feel like they have a lot more options. I just don't think that, especially even in Italy, so you've seen what's happening with like the likes of Young going abroad, Smalling going abroad, etc. So I think that it's becoming a lot more acceptable for British players to go abroad. And if the younger players want their careers, because football's a short career at the end of the day. If they want to get their careers, they want to play big, then, off the top of my head, in terms of British players, obviously, Bale is obviously there, is always on the bench. Trippier is obviously, it's Atletico still. Young is at Inter. Chris Smalling is at Roma. And obviously Sancho is in Dortmund. Are there any other Brits that I can think of that are in abroad? Leon Bailey.
I wouldn't say that's playing now. Obviously, such as like Ashley Young went and played for Roma for a year, and he was an English player.
Yeah.
Ashley, what am I on about? Ashley? I mean Ashley Cole.
Ashley Cole. Yeah. So the point is that like I think it's not so much just the United that low support. Maybe there might be an element of that. I think there is just there's more openness to move abroad now. So I think that's
exactly.
That's we've answered the can Sané Gnabry be the next duo. Are there any other questions or comments? Let's have a quick look. Anna Seed actually is a good point. Like, if Pep comes back to Barca, can he save Barca and bring the good old days back, like the post 2008 era? That's a good question.
I think there'll only be one Barcelona of 2008 to 2011, but he will certainly make some sort of a difference, I think. If he still has players like Messi and Busquets, and I'm trying to think who else would have played under Pep. PK.
Puyol did. Busquets did. Eto'o was there as well, I think.
Eto'o was there, yeah. So we're talking about a Barcelona team that had players like the ones that we just mentioned, and you compare them to the players they have today. I mean, I'm not sure how much of a difference he's going to make, but of course, with the success that he's had there, I think he's going to make some sort of a difference, I think. and the quality of a manager in which he is as well. So as we've discussed today as well. Yeah.
Fair enough. Susan said, why on earth do Barcelona not sign Van der Beek, De Jong, and Van der Beek ahead of Busquets? Far more balanced. Those two have the youthful legs, understanding of each other to restore self as press. They need to get rid of Busquets. Busquets has been irrelevant for the last 3 years, to be honest. I'm not sure how he's still on that side, but there you go. Zane says, we agreed terms and everyone agrees, and everyone was agreed until Left got the transfer ban and Griezmann went moral and decided to wait and stay. We were to sign. Yeah, that is true. That is true.
Yeah, that's
so. But it's just interesting about his morals when he still went and signed for Barcelona behind the back. Yeah. So I don't really get that. Ilya says, "Who cares for bidding? We have Sir Bloody Jones." I mean, obviously that's banter. That is banter. Obviously. And I see another question says, in a hypothetical situation, let's assume Messi leaves Barca and joins forces with CR7 and Juve. Juve wins treble. Who will win the Ballon d'Or, Messi or CR7?
I think they're still checking the bank account from having to pay for Ronaldo, to be honest.
Yeah.
They've just bought Arthur as well for 72 million. You know, I think they're going to be a bit bankrupt. Might have to go and get some Italian loans or something. Go and get like 200 million or something, 300 million, and you know he's going to probably cost about that in about 2 years of staying there. On wages. So,
do you think if they were both in the same team, who would? I think that. I think if they're on the same team,
it'd be hard for either of them to win if they're in the same team. Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, no. Answer. Yeah, you answer, LB. Yeah.
With two of the players being in the same team, I think there have been discussions and talks in the past about Neymar and Mbappe finding it difficult to contest for a Ballon d'Or if they were to remain in the same team in PSG. And I think the same thing would apply if Messi and Ronaldo were to play together at Juventus as well. Yeah, so it's sort of like having to be a part to have that individual success. But, it'd be phenomenal to see them both play with each other, or anything will ever happen. But,
yeah, I agree with that.
Listen, Oliver Burke leads the line for Alaba. Oh, he does actually. Oliver Burke leads the line for Alaba. So there you go, another British player. So he's done more than what Suarez has done for Barcelona this season. I'll tell you that. Shots fired. Yeah, I went there. Suarez is irrelevant in 2020.
Yeah,
he's just not there already. Another question from NSCE. To rate these defenders from 1 to 5: Mustafi, Socrates, David Luiz, Phil Jones, and Smalling. So I assume you mean 1 being the best and 5 being the worst. LB, why don't you try?
I'd say Socrates number 1. Are we talking about? Or we'll base this on their form today. Yeah, we'll just say Socrates number 1, maybe Smalling number 2, Phil Jones number 3, Mustafi number 4, David Luiz number 5.
Tom, what are your thoughts?
Well, they're all banter players, really. I'd probably put Smalling at 1. I'd put Socrates second. David Luiz third, probably. It'd probably be a head and tails between Phil Jones and Mustafi, to be honest. They're both terrible. Let's just put Jones there and then Mustafi at last. I couldn't really care, to be honest. They're all.
Oh, Smalling's there as well. I forgot to mention Smalling's there. I'd actually put Smalling first. I think Smalling is the better defender out of all of them.
He's the better out of all.
Let's be like, you see what he's doing at Roma. Like, he's out of all of them. So Smalling is first. Socrates second. I would say Mustafi third. I think between him and you know what? I'll say David Luiz third, because to be fair to David Luiz, bar that Man City mistake where he did, yes, he collapses sometimes, but the thing is that people don't get is that, like, when he was out of the team, Arsenal was still defensively worse. You know what I mean? Like you can be forgiven for being done over by Raheem Sterling, you know,
Yeah.
but Arsenal were done. Arsenal were done over by Mapai, you know, So like without him in the
let's never
team,
talk about that because we'll
you
probably
know,
end up talking
so.
about Ty.
Well, jeez, that's not like if Arsenal lose to Wolves, it's going to be AFTV and chill on the weekend if they lose to Wolves. Already, Troops I think is like, I'm confident we're going to win. I'm like, you need to troops, man. You need to chill.
He needs to pipe down a bit.
You need to chill.
He's
Like,
talking as if he's a Liverpool fan. Not
this is the problem with Arsenal
fan.
fans, that they'll beat, like, they'll go and like maybe win 2 games.
They'll beat Norwich
like
4-0 and
Sheffield, and they're like, we can do it, and then they get slapped, and it's just like.
To this day, I honestly think that Arsenal fan TV is staged. At least half of it's staged.
I'll agree with that statement as well.
I think
there's just too many different characters there, not to be like scripted at least. A bit.
Yeah.
Team Tagage says, why are people bantering Mustafi? When players are doing bad, you slate them, but when they improve, don't give props. I agree. I just don't think that Mustafi has shown this season that he's any better, arguably, than David Luiz, to be perfectly honest. Overall, Lingo was actually good at one point, and 2 people close to him passed. He started playing badly. Yes and no.
There was a day that Lingard was in the England team. He's never even talked about now.
No one remembers when he used to play for England. Yeah, he's not assist or scored since 2019, I think.
Yeah, some ridiculous stuff like that.
If Messi leads the Barca to UCL in August, can he be in the conversation of a horseman? Oh, doing tiers. I should maybe start doing tiers on this channel. Yeah, I think I spoke about it with Sean and Josh in an earlier podcast about having the Hall of Fame, or like Hall of Fame, and then sort of like Hall of Deadwood or something.
Yeah,
and having systems for that. But if Messi leads Barca to UCL in August, if he does, then he'll be Ballon d'Or, horseman, greatest, definitely.
Yeah.
The reality is that Barcelona have not been in a final for 5 years. I don't think people seem to really appreciate this. Like, they don't seem to understand that Barcelona have actually not reached a chance for half a decade, and Barcelona still are seen as like the big favourites to win the CL. 5 years is a long time to be out of final. Real Madrid have been in 3. Liverpool have been in 2. Go on.
Yeah, I just want to ask a question to both of you as United fans, obviously. Regardless of the season, you can choose any player you want. Who would you say has been... I know the season's not ended yet, but if you had to choose a player of the season just off of the games that you've seen now, who would you choose at Man United for your player of the season?
So just in general?
Yeah, just in general. It doesn't matter if they're joined in January like Fernando Zorigalo. Just in general.
Oh, for United, or just any Premier League player?
For Man United.
Oh, for Man United. Okay.
I mean, you can say for any team in Premier League if you want.
Oh, well, for Man United, for me, Wan-Bissaka, because since he came, he's been the most consistent player.
Yeah.
At Manchester United.
That's why I've always said.
Yeah.
Simple. And you can see when the teams play us, that like they will go down the other side.
Yeah.
Like, they get tired of it. They're like, right, okay, we'll start going down the right, and like, well, this isn't going to work. So we'll go down the other side, or we'll go for the middle, or lob the ball up. Like you don't often see teams pressing the right hand side unless they double up, like Arsenal did, with Pepe and Aubameyang, I think.
They doubled up on him, but they just couldn't do anything, so they switched sides and had to play through Pepe.
LB.
Yeah, I'd say Wan-Bissaka. I'm with you on that one.
Cool.
Were there any other questions in the comments before we round up? Amelia says, just tie from FTV. Mupai, or disgrace, you cheat. Well, at the end of the day,
get relegated.
We're not going to be relegated, Ty. So, and unfortunately, you can't blame Chris Potts for beating you guys at home with Brighton and Ostersons. Like, let's be real here.
Glenn Murray up front.
Yeah, it's just it was. But
we smacked them 3-0, and they just got absolutely killed.
But apparently they're going to beat Wolves. Apparently they're going to beat Wolves. So yeah,
I think we might be talking about a cricket score there.
Let's see how that goes. I don't think it'll be a walk in the park. I think it'll be the way we play. But
they'll put up a fight. I was going to talk about that, but I think they'll put up a fight. But I can't see Wolves losing, to be honest.
Shout out to Average Joe. Hope he's doing okay. Hope you're doing okay, bro. Make sure you remember to like the vid. And actually, I said, don't you think if Barca wins UCL in August by some mistake or miracle, then will this be the worst team to win UCL post 2000? Probably. Because I can't think of it. I don't know if you guys can think of. This was actually one of LB's questions in terms of best UCL finest UCL team. But can
Chelsea,
I think of
2012?
That's a good contender. Chelsea were very lucky to win that final, and even the semis, because Messi missed the penalty and Pogba missed the penalty. So you could argue, that's probably it. Because like in the decades, because who won it? Because I think so. 2000, I think Barcelona won 2 with Pep, obviously.
Yeah.
Real Madrid have won 4. Liverpool have won 1, Bayern have won 1, Chelsea have won 1. Barcelona must have won 3 then, didn't they? Yeah, they won it in 2015 with the treble. Yeah. So Barca 3, Madrid 4, Liverpool 1, Bayern 1, and Chelsea 1.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah. Can I just
go on.
Yeah, I just want to ask just one question out of the Premier League, because obviously we've spoke about Manchester City and Pep Guardiola and everything over the last couple of weeks. It's a question that's been playing on my mind, everything. Right. So you take Pep Guardiola, who you would say, not recently, obviously, because Klopp's done what he's done over the last 2 years, but you'd say he's one of the best one of the top 2 managers in the world. Right. He's not at Manchester City next season. You're Sheikh Mansour, you're the Manchester City owner. Who do you get to replace the second or the first or the best manager in the world? Who do you go and get? That's my question to you two, and obviously the people in the comments. Who would you go and get?
Who would replace Pep at City, basically?
Yeah.
I mean, well, first and foremost, it's a question of who's available. First and foremost.
But you obviously still buy managers out. And with Man City, they obviously bought Guardiola out of his contract.
Let's see.
It's a tricky one.
In terms of availability, I'd say Pochettino. In terms of
You're struggling, exactly. And this is how Manchester City are going to be if they have to replace him.
Exactly.
And they're not going to be in the Champions League. So who's going to want to manage them?
I mean, unless I guess it depends on their strategy, because if they want to, it's all about Ancelotti might be a good shout for experience and stability. Average Joe, that's what he says, Don Ancelotti. I don't think that's a bad shout. Ancelotti he's at Everton, and I think he'd have to spend a lot of money because the Everton owners are rich. So you'd have to spend a lot of money to buy him out. But Ancelotti's a good, stable shout, I think. But I just think that if City, it depends on City's strategy, because I think if they want to go down the line of actually being like investing in youth, that type of promotion, development, etc., then maybe they should go for more young and up and coming manager, like for example, said, like a Nagelsmann, exactly. Or what's the Ajax coach guy, the
Ten Hag
or something like that. Then that would make a lot more sense. But I don't know whether City have that. The owners have that mindset.
Yeah, from what I've seen, and it's the exact same with such as Man United. It's been speculated over the last 2 seasons that we were going to get a director of football. Where the blooming extra director of football at the club?
The Man City owners have never struck me as people who are interested in really developing youth.
No.
Really, like it's just we want success.
Why would you? Why would you
Buy the
develop
players.
a player for 3 years when you can just go and
Buy them.
go and buy somebody for 70 million to play there regularly? It makes no sense to me. And this is where I think money's taken over football in a sense. I think it ruins the game. I think it ruins the game. It ruins the fun of it. You build a team from nothing in a sense with money. You go back 20 years ago, Sir Alex Ferguson, were he buying players for chuffing 70, 80 million pounds? And buying probably 5 players every window for that fee? No, he wasn't. He was probably buying players for 5 or 6 million. And then later down the line, it'd turn him into chuffing £100 million players. Or they wouldn't want to leave. And it's exactly the same with Klopp. He's took such as Salah and Mane and Firmino from being 30 million players. You'd probably say they're worth 100 million now.
Yeah,
I know, you really love Messi, man. I get you're a Barcelona fan, like it's like Messi. What take was like literally 5 minutes, and then we're gonna wrap it up. So like, if anyone who's watching, if you have any questions, get them in. Literally 5 minutes counting down, and then we'll do quick fire. We'll just get Tom back. There's Tom.
I misclicked.
Literally last 5 minutes. And then in 5 minutes, we're going to just basically wrap the podcast up. But thanks everyone for watching so far. So I'm going to address Anas Saeed's question. If you have any other questions, we'll give it for the last 5 minutes and then we'll wrap things up. So Anas Saeed's question again is, what will be the big achievement if Messi wins UCL in August, or Maradona winning a Serie A with Napoli, or Messi winning UCL with this? This is the whole Maradona versus Messi thing again. Simple answer: Maradona has a World Cup, Messi does not. So that's basically the end of that discussion.
I mean, his country did bottle it in the final against Germany.
Yeah.
And not even the previous World Cup, like the players that they had, that
was a quality side as well.
It was a good side.
Yeah. So yeah, he had his chance, but yeah, Maradona.
Maradona,
100%. Any more questions? Nagelsmann is a class manager. Yes, Nagelsmann is great. A lot of people for Nagelsmann. Arajo says Poch is still out there, though Ilya does say average Poch is a bottler.
He's a manager who can rebuild the club.
Yeah, this is the thing.
That's what I said. I think it. Do you know what? I think
because City are going to need a rebuild. This is the thing. Like, someone's going to drop the top. But
I'm surprised, such as like with Barcelona. Barcelona need a rebuild. Pochettino is your guy in a sense, really. He took Tottenham from a mid-table team to, Champions League runners-up. Huge credit for that. Yeah, he's not won a trophy, but he's achieved a lot with little money. So that's what I think. Yeah, go on, Albito.
Sorry, no, I'll cut you off.
No. It's go on. It's all right.
It's almost as though, look, I know it's a completely different story, and another discussion we can have. That they overachieved last season, Tottenham. That is, getting into the UCL final, not taking away anything that they were able to achieve. By beating, I think it was Ajax in the semi-final, and the way they beat them, and getting to the final is an enormous achievement. But I think there was a bit of overachievement as well. A season where a lot of the teams were struggling outside of Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Barcelona. So they did play well, but I reckon they overachieved as well.
Yeah, and I think obviously with Tottenham, I think in terms of if Tottenham will, I don't think Tottenham in the next 10, 20 years will ever have another chance of winning the Premier League like they did in that 15-16 season.
Yeah, Leicester.
They lost one game to West Ham and blew it. That put the nail in the coffin for them.
Yeah.
And in the last couple of years, have Tottenham really come any close to winning the title? No. And I don't think they ever will, to be honest with you, for the next at least few years.
Fair enough. Okay. So last question, and it's from Anas Saeed again. So answers, and then we'll just wrap things up. You don't have to always repeat your questions and shit. I can see them. I can see. You don't have to repeat it 4 times in the comments. So I can see them. Would Pochettino have become the coach to win UCL with the most average team if he won the UCL last year? I don't think so, because unlike Chelsea, where I feel at times Chelsea were lucky, you know, the comeback against City, the comeback against Ajax, those were well worked comebacks. They weren't flukes.
No,
You know,
but there
they had
flukes. You take the City game for example, the second leg. You know, when they went a goal down and then Man City were already back. It's not as if he could switch tactics into the middle of the game. It's not as if he went in the dressing room and said, "Right, we're playing a different way." He just said something to such as Son. Said to Son, "Oh, come out a bit more wider and then cut inside and have a pop, and it's going to the back of the net." So and Tottenham, you might say, are an average team. I think Tottenham under Pochettino, I think they was on the way to building something great, really. But obviously, blew his plans out the water and gone with Mourinho, and we've already spoken about it at the start of the podcast. And I don't think anybody really needs to discuss about Mourinho, to be honest. He's obviously out of his depth, and I think it's only a matter of time, personally. I think Pochettino might go back there, to be honest.
Just a few more. The comments are still coming in, so but just there's just a lot of good stuff coming in. So it's
fine.
It's the positive for the Friday podcast. Actually, for those who are still watching, please let me know if you like this idea of these Friday night podcasts. Make sure that you like the video. Please let me know. The feedback is very much appreciated, because we want to kind of do this as a bi-weekly thing, Mondays and Fridays around this time. If you are happy with this Friday night show podcast, let me know. Or if you want it to be called something else, a different name, if there are any different name suggestions, like Friday Night Live, or I don't know, something else, let me know in the comments as well. I'll be really, really curious to hear your suggestions. So if you like the podcast being on Friday night, and also if you have any suggestions, please let me know in the comments. I'd appreciate that. So CMC says, thoughts on Leeds under Bielsa if promoted. There's talk he's been offered Adolfo Gaich, a 6'4" Sunderland striker who started in Argentine on 20s. How will he be fair given his quality style of play? I'm also going to first see, you know, as a United fan, like, I don't give a damn about Leeds.
I knew you'd say.
I really don't, you know. So I'm really looking for. I'm really looking forward to them being promoted, because I remember the Leeds.
We can smack them 4-0, like we
I want to smack them. You know, I really. That's my honest opinion. But in a serious thing, like, I think they can. Leeds are backed. You know, so I think they can do well. I certainly think they'll make things competitive. And from what I've seen, they play quite good football. But I think the last results I've noticed in the Championship have been a bit mediocre. So I think, in my opinion, it'll be kind of a watch this space. As far as the Adam Coach, if I'm honest, I haven't seen the guy, but
the bottled it last year anyway, because they could have got promoted last year and they bottled it against Derby. So, does anyone know about the Adolfo Gaich, a 6' Sunderland? So
I've
not heard of him. So
I'll search him up after this.
Yeah, well, I'll certainly have a look into it and check. No doubt about that. Red Devil Weekly. Hope you're doing well, buddy. Please head over to his channel, guys. Another Manchester United channel. Please go and support. He's almost at, I think, 900 subscribers. So please go over to Red Devil Weekly and support him. Really appreciate it. He says, I think there's a chance that Solskjaer lays the foundation for Poch to come in and take credit for our inevitable treble 2022-2023. That's if Pochettino
is available, then.
Is available, because there's a very good chance that with the way that Jose is going behind things, that he might be back at Spurs probably by the end of the season, to be honest.
Poch, come and save us. You'll just see the banners.
So you don't know.
Poch, come and save us.
Last question, and I say it again. That's fine. It's okay. I'm enjoying this. Hoping people are enjoying listening and watching as well. Last question, and please be unbiased. Now, what do you guys think that how much time Bruno needs to reach a De Bruyne level, or is he already on his level?
I don't think he's on his level. But
I mean, put some Premier League trophies in his cabinet, then yeah, obviously, because De Bruyne has won more trophies than him, but they're obviously similar players, have similar impacts on teams.
Mm.
The impact that Bruno has made on this United team is far superior to what the impact De Bruyne made at Manchester City 3 or 4 years ago. And I don't think De Bruyne is going to be there come maybe the end of the season with his Champions League ban. For me, I think he's gone. To be honest, he's gone.
De Bruyne.
Yeah, De Bruyne. I think he'll. What's De Bruyne got to stay at Manchester City for? To sit there and be second fiddle to Pep Guardiola.
Yeah, he wants the Champions League.
Yeah, he wants the Champions League. Every player wants to win the major trophies, the Champions League, the Premier League. Jadon Sancho's not going to win the Champions League at Borussia Dortmund, is he? Let's be real.
No,
That's why he wants to come to a club like Man United. Exactly the same way players like Salah and that would have gone to Liverpool because they wanted to win something major, and he could see something were being built. So there you go.
No, I agree. Red Devil says the only name session I could come up with is free for Friday, but that's pretty enough. And there's usually more than 3 of us. People have gone a bit early, so that's the only thing about that. Although Ilias has said Bruno's the best midfielder in the world, I think that's a bit of a stretch.
Maybe you could talk about maybe current form out of all the midfielders in the world. I'd put De Bruyne probably in that bracket.
Yeah, De Bruyne.
I can't really think of anybody else, to be honest.
No.
Who would you say? Like,
I mean, Paul Pogba on a very good day is up there. I still think so. Like, I don't think people really appreciate like what Paul Pogba like does on because he's not. The problem is that he's not scoring amazing free kicks. It's not that. It's like the vision. It's the passing. It's like
people don't see these things when you go over the game and you do an analysis or a tactical overview of it. Solskjaer has used Pogba very well. Long range passing, vision, everything.
And I see some Liverpool fans believe Hender's better than KDB. Well,
they're 2 different players.
Yes, and they're deluded. It's just let's be like to say that Jordan Henderson is in terms of captain material. If we're talking about captain material, then yes, I think so because I don't think that De Bruyne is really a captain in that sense.
But in terms of what he gives to the team, De Bruyne puts more on the table than Henderson does.
Yes, let's be real. That's
Henderson just lifts the trophies at the end of the season.
I was going to say that he lifted. I can't believe he's lifted 2 trophies within the space of 2 years now.
4. Yeah.
If you include obviously the Super Cup and the Club Winners' Cup, of course.
Of course.
Yeah. Fair enough. Okay, well, I think that's all the questions in. So thank you guys so much for everyone who's watching. Like I said, if you guys are new to the channel, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to Red Devil Studio. Follow us on Twitter, United X, smash the notification for latest fantasy news. Oh, also, when you post it on the comic channel, I will email you. But yeah, thanks everyone for watching. Please let me know if you like the content, if you like the name, and if you still want to see this type of podcast going on Friday nights. Have a nice day, guys.